but now let's see where we are live. That's the question. 1 second. I'll give you the link, Vera. Here it is.
You're good.
I'll give everyone the link, and I'll also. There you go, and we'll see if anyone finds us or if we're unfindable. At everyone.
Nope. Still looks like the pictures are glitching out a lot.
You're looking on it.
Yeah,
There's too many people in the stream.
Yeah, I think that's.
Is that it?
Well, it's weird because we've had this many people before.
No,
someone
stream
just said
says-
stream seems good now.
I'm trusting whoever that is.
Joker.
Okay.
Okay, people are saying hello,
Hello.
and that.
Yeah, for some reason, Vero, Steve, Bell, and Sam all look like weird magic
I
eye
just kicked in.
paintings.
Wahoo.
There we go. It's just taking a second to get back to it.
Okay.
Oh.
I'm not doing anything interesting anyway, so as long as you could hear me.
No one make any sudden movements.
I only trust Jobert, or as I will pronounce their name, Jobert. So we'll wait a couple minutes for people to find us. Vera, I'm guessing you're already posted, or you're in the process of doing it. Thank you.
The Twitter fingers.
Wait, I have to. There you go.
Tommy,
Okay.
you're not really late. We had technical difficulties.
No one is late. Everyone is actually exactly on time, and if anyone says otherwise, they're wrong. Dan, why don't you roll back those things so if we pretend it didn't happen? Start from the beginning, and we're going to go straight into it. None of this small talk crap. I don't want any of this small talk crap. Okay, I'll get graphics up just in case we want graphics. Look, I could. Oh, while we wait, we could have this picture here.
Oh, sorry.
Oh no, Brodsky won't go away. Okay, here we go. Ready?
Why do you want to send Brodsky away?
Here we go. 3, 2. This is the One Piece podcast for the first time ever, episode 729 for the week of Friday, July 22nd, 2022. We are celebrating One Piece Day. My name is Zach.
My name is Ed.
My name is Steve.
On today's show, we have our social media coordinator. Vero is with us. You have to put a question mark at the end. It's important.
Yeah, there's a question mark there. Because I don't know how to use Twitter, so I don't know how that could be a thing.
I said no small talk, Vero. What are you doing? We have, and this is true, I'm reading it now, non-binary game developer Donnie's with us. How's it going, Donnie?
It's going well, but no small
Yes.
talk. Move on.
Thank you. We have from All the Anime, Miles Thomas returns. How's it going?
Never been better.
I didn't believe it the first time. I don't believe it this time, even though there was no first time. Anyway, no small talk. We have anime recap host Sam Leach with us. How's it going, Sam?
That's already too much small talk. Move on.
Oh, Jesus. Why did I even ask how it's going? I could do this, Zach. Audio editor and very punny guy, Dan.
I'm sorry, my pun broke the first stream. Moving on.
It did. That's why you never make a pun about I'm going to read it here, rental car company? No, you don't do that. We have our Brazilian correspondent, Belle, is joining us. How's it going, Belle?
I'm good. Go on.
Okay, so we have no time to waste. Belle, I like it. That's some good effort there. To reduce the small talk, which I am doing a very bad job at this very moment, at this point in time. Let's get started. We are doing our Arcs of Consequence audience rankings. We'll discuss it as we go, but I think we should just get straight into it because there's no time for small talk. The kind of talk I'm having right now. So let's get started. What's our first one, Dan? What is our first, and by that I mean worst arc?
Everybody hates Syrup Village.
Not only was it the shocking when people didn't know what it was, but it continues to not be shocking right now. Yeah. Vero, do you remember what our penultimately bad arc is?
Orange Town. Justice for Buggy.
Justice for Buggy. Hashtag Justice for Buggy.
Orange.
When will Buggy get a win?
Hey, I said it correct. I said it without my ear.
I need somebody making Britney tears over Buggy.
Oh yeah, Ed, we forgot to introduce this correctly.
All right.
Yeah.
Want me to do it?
Yeah, don't do it. Do it.
Arcs of Consequence. You guys didn't know that, but I did the arms like that every time. Even
I did not know that. I feel like this has blown my world completely open.
You would have thought we would have remembered to say that because this is our first time recording this.
Well, you didn't do it the first time either.
No.
Oh, the jokes you all missed in the first one. It was no, you're GG. Didn't miss anything. The first surprising one I thought was Long Ring Longland, which ranks 7 places below our ranking. We ranked it at 15, and by we I mean the 30 of us except for Miles, who does agree with the audience, and probably is the reason why it's so low.
It's extremely entertaining, though. It's and I also remember it for being the first episodes of the anime in widescreen.
Yeah, we all love
Yeah.
widescreen, except when it's the orange boxes. Yeah.
That's not real.
God.
Can't hurt me.
Miles, since I know you have not yet gone through any reasoning as to why you put it dead last, but maybe for the first time ever, you should do that now.
I started off with One Piece as an anime-only viewer. This was the most miserable part of the anime. My opinion did soften on it when I read it in the manga because it's much better, but I still cannot stand Foxy or any of his crew. The arc has its moments, and it is funny and charming, but I have much more nostalgia for early One Piece than I do for the Davy Back fight, and I have much more respect for everything that came after it.
So here's an interesting little tidbit. Here's some data that we have. Of the people who ranked this last, anime only viewer or anime people who were caught up with the anime, but not the people who were caught up with the anime. So people who we presume consume the anime with some regularity were twice as likely to think that this was the worst arc than people who only read or who aren't caught up with the anime and only read
That's
the manga.
called science.
I had noticed that
don't know
pattern.
if that's what that's called.
They put a ball on Sanji's head. Like, what more do you want? I don't
Yeah.
It
know
looks
what
so
else I'm-
good.
He looks like the Prince of Dumbass Kingdom. That's one of my
Exactly.
favorite lines in all of One
It
Piece.
is probably one of my favorite lines. Yeah, I mean, I think I recall I ranked it in the middle, I believe, somewhere, which is I also just I think, Miles, we were saying also with like the end of Wano, it was really nice not to have tension every week. I know you're more of you are lucky enough to be a marathon reader, so there's that. But also, I'm talking to Miles like he's the ambassador to the audience here and their pick.
One thing I like about Long Ring Longland, in retrospect, is that it's an arc contained only with the Straw Hats and the villains, and I guess Tungent is there too, off to the side somewhere.
Kinda.
And also,
with modern arcs, there's so many support characters for the Straw Hats and other characters of the One Piece world who aren't the villains and who aren't the Straw Hats, and there's just too many of them.
I agree, but you did forget the major character in the Long Ring Longland arc, the
Chiquita?
horse. I think I've wasted enough time. No chit chat. Sorry.
I think the filler around Davy Back is worse than the filler that's in Davy Back. Like I like the horse getting bit.
Like wasn't that what the memory loss?
There's also a
time,
Foxy,
right?
like there's like a brief
Foxy
like
comes
Foxy
back.
returns filler
Yeah,
arc. Like they
for 2
they
episodes,
do
yeah.
the Davy Back fight. And
They have the
there's some
Spa
filler, and then
Island
there's
one
another
way after.
Foxy filler.
That's after Thriller Bark.
That
I
like the
like,
best animated filler ever. It made no sense.
It was
Davy
very
Back
good.
is the sort of thing I hope we get at least one more example of before the series is end. Just like this kind of pocket arc that isn't super connected to like all the lore and big picture story.
I always
Same,
thought that
only
Oda
3
let
more years.
Oda let
There's no
Toei
time.
use Foxy for the Nebulandia story, so that's probably not gonna happen.
Well, I mean, I don't want it doesn't have to be Foxy specifically,
okay.
but just like a little like side story that exists for its own sake, you know.
Yeah,
I
Oda
will
really,
say,
Oda really screwed the
Hi,
bridge.
Maddie.
Hi, Maddie.
What's going on?
I don't know.
Maddie
Dan
said
did that.
hi.
I think Maddie said it.
For some reason, YouTube restricted it, so I put it on the screen.
Oh, okay.
Oda really screwed the pooch by not having Oda and switch crews by ways of Davy backfight.
Yeah.
That's my one thing. If the Davy backfight as a concept, not with Foxy, was tied in again later, I feel like a few people would have a little
Absolutely
less issues with it because they just feel like it doesn't matter in the grand scheme
Well,
of things.
We'll get to Skypea later, but if I had one of these polls from like 10 or 15 years ago, I bet you, for the reason that Skypea has been weaved into the story later on, I bet you the same thing would happen if any of the lower ranked arcs, if Syrup Village became super critical to the final arc.
The poop on Kuro's coat has something to do with Laugh Tale.
What if Kuro's just standing on Laugh Tale at the end, and that's why everyone laughs when they get there? They're like, "This guy, I can't believe it."
He just wants to retire.
Get off of Laugh Tale. Yeah, we do that. I relate to him, but his plan is stupid. The next one. So 21. This ranked exactly the same on our poll. Twin Capes, Whiskey Peak. Does anyone have? Is anyone really? Miles, you look really disappointed that Whiskey Peak's there.
I am. I just like it. It's just
I
the
do
thing
too.
is all these in the middle, the early Alabasta arcs or pre-Alabasta arcs are all very, very good and all ranked very, very lowly. And it's just together they make a great arc. On their own, sure, I understand why people aren't going to put Whiskey Peak at the top of the list. But
They should.
I loved it.
Oh, you see, so Brodsky's actually going to help us put together like real like in-depth data. I should be seeing if anyone ranked Whiskey Peak number 1. That is something I'm curious about. When we get to our number 1, I do have some interesting stuff to share though, so we'll get there.
Yes.
Yeah, Dan knows what I'm talking about.
Some really good stuff.
It's some very interesting stuff. Number 20 also was ranked the same as ours, and Miles, I think, already touched on the issue. It's Little Garden. You posted it, Dan, too soon. I see it
sorry.
there already. How could you do that? You ruined the suspense.
Just so
Okay,
eager to
Little
talk about
Garden.
Little Garden.
I agree with Miles, though. I think I mentioned this on the show that I love that arc. It's fun. I could understand why people would rank it lower, but yeah, I didn't love it my first time in, but like I think as I've grown up as a One Piece fan.
My problem with Little Garden is it sounds like somebody took Little Caesars and Olive Garden and put them together, and that is an abomination.
Dan, you know there's a story.
Well, no, actually, Dan, that's
arc.
the other island at the end of the arc. That's made of shit.
Yes, there it is. That's why there's so much of it.
Yeah. Unlimited breadsticks. And
Mike Morris said, "What is Whiskey Peak number 1 for Grant? Is that true? Or I guess maybe Little Garden,
surprised.
one of those.
That
I wouldn't be surprised for either.
Oh,
Yeah,
it does.
no.
It does have Robin in her best fit. So
Whiskey Peak, yeah.
yeah,
Whiskey
I
Peak
will
does.
say yeah. Someone called out that's
Yep.
Hunter's fan said introduction of Miss All Sunday for Whiskey Peak. That is
that
true.
that tracks for Grant.
Oh, and more
We should be
importantly,
ranking
no, it's Vero, please. I
we
talked
should be
too much
ranking
already.
the arcs based on their outfits, honestly, and that's why Skypea should be number 1 because they're all it's all served. So
Okay, wait, Vero. According to that logic, what would
Uh-huh.
be the lowest ranked arc?
oh man, I don't
Dressrosa.
know. Yeah, I would be real.
Really?
Everybody look like shit.
For
No,
the outfits?
Luffy's Dressrosa outfit is really cute.
I like
Robin's
Luffy's
not.
The sunflowers is great.
Luffy, yeah.
the
Yeah,
sunflower
I own
t-shirt.
the sunflower shirt.
Zoro's suit? Zoro doesn't
that.
wear a suit.
Zoro's suit and beard is also good, but I'm thinking of everyone else.
I can't pick anything actually.
like
I don't.
Robin's.
I have a last.
So I don't know. If Grant voted, he did not write his actual name. So I don't see his on there. But if there's anyone else you want me to call out, I'd be happy to. Like, I don't know.
Are we
someone.
getting super chats?
Is that a thing?
We'll get there.
Okay.
Is a super chat a thing? Is that like when I don't know. Next one. This ranked. I think someone here
Oh, sorry.
will be very happy. Did you already post it? Let
No,
me
I
at least
retracted.
lead up to it. Oh God, I think Vero will be very happy that this moved up 4 points in the audience ranking, though still very low. Just to
I'm
poke a hole
excited.
in it. Amazon Lily got number
There it is.
19 on the audience ranking. Vero, can you
high.
talk about? We didn't get to have you. We didn't get to have you on the Arcs of
Why I put
Consequence. So
Amazon
just
Lily
talk
as
about
nine?
Amazon Lily.
I put Amazon Lily as 9 because I love women. Like that's literally just it. And Boa's backstory is one of my favorites. And I get it's not one of the best arcs like out there, but personally I find it very special. And I really like all the character designs that Oda does in that arc. And I think it's just fun. It's fun. It's a good time.
Oh, you know what I should do? I should call people out here who I have their info. Steve ranked this dead last. We talked about that already. I don't think Vero's talked to Steve since.
Nope. Yeah.
No. Okay.
We're at who's Steve?
I think that's the opposite of what was supposed to happen.
Whoops.
You got porn spam bots in the comments now. Wow.
Dan, wow.
That's how you know we've made it.
That is how you know.
And they're really active.
Shout out to everyone in the chat hyping up Amazon Lily. You're all correct.
They really want us to know
Block
about
user on YouTube. I don't know if that helped.
It helped. It's gone.
I think that.
Oh well, one of them is.
I think the phrase "I love women" was what attracted.
Yeah.
I need
If you love women,
Oh,
then check
yeah.
out these
Lady.
singles in your area.
You love women, huh? Well, have I got a link for you?
One porn.
They all take pornographic-esque
Probably-
selfies.
There's probably truth to that.
By the way, Mike Patton was supposed to be here, but I think he'll be joining us later. Mike ranked it pretty high as well. Mike ranked it
Mike's my
number
best friend
15.
Let's go.
So yeah, which is high for someone who isn't Vero. Let's go to the next one because I'm sure we'll have more to talk about.
He ranked it there probably because there's a lazy river somewhere on Amazon.
Amazon Lily sounds like a lazy
chilling.
river.
Which I can believe. I would
It's in the
believe that.
calm
I would
belt.
believe
It's
there's
in the
a lazy
calm
river
belt,
there.
which is just a giant lazy
It's the
river.
biggest lazy
Yeah.
river.
Wait, but a lazy river filled with monsters. Calm belt doesn't mean what it should.
Wait. Is a lazy river better if it has monsters, or does
Yes.
it defeat the purpose of the lazy river? Anyway, next one. Number 18, Fishman Island, ranked around the same as ours. I feel like this arc has been, maybe for the reasons I said with Skypiea, I feel like it's been moving up. This always used to be, I feel like, at the bottom of people's lists.
I don't know. There isn't nearly as cathartic a moment in Fishman Island as there is in Skypiea. I think, and also just and granted, it has the same issue with sort of the weak sub-villains, but Eneru is a much stronger villain and a much stronger foil and a much more interesting character than Hody Jones really is.
Sorry, I
Sorry,
was just
why are we talking about Skype?
Because we were
Island, and then now we're like just discussing Skype, and I'm like,
because we'd rather discuss Skype. I think we talked about this a lot in our show, but I think it's become a much more prescient arc generally. Fishman Island and the flashback's still one of my favorites.
Yeah, it has
both
one of the
them.
best flashbacks, and I think I think Oda did. He did something interesting with making like the intentionally weak villains. I feel like the fight. I always liked how they structured the fights at the end.
Can someone tell me what a super chat is? Sorry to interrupt, Sam.
I think someone's like paying to have their comment highlighted.
They
pay YouTube, and YouTube collects the money and says,
And then they give you a part of it. Yeah.
Oh, sure. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, and it had. Thank you,
Go
player
ahead, Sam.
King Awesome. It had Caribou.
We're gonna move on.
actually
With
Caribou
Caribou.
has one of the funniest moments in that descent
He
down
does.
to Fishman Island. That's a very funny. Him and Frank.
No.
That
Frankie has one of the funniest moments in that. Let's make that clear.
But hey, it takes
Caribou
two to
got fucked
tango.
up.
I will
But yeah,
say,
the
if the
descent is really good.
that's what I was gonna say. If the descent were its own thing, it would probably be in my top 5. It's so cool. I think it was the anglerfish, the one with like the trick. I don't know what they're. I think it's an anglerfish. Really cool. That's like one of my favorite Oda or assistant designs I've seen in the series to this day.
Fishman Island
next.
was also a lot of Oda saying like, here's a bunch of plot points that I'm intentionally not going to pay off until like maybe the end of the series.
I do agree
like
with
hundreds of chapters later, like with the Tamate
Or
and
Joy Boy.
Joy Boy, and the still like hanging like destruction of Fishman Island is still like just a crazy plot hook.
Jan Habtemichael does make up a good point, Sam. Did you rank the Marineford stuff higher because it included Caribou? Did that influence your decision?
Marineford?
Yeah, the Marineford arc, which of course also includes Return to Shawbuddy, and we're not going to argue that.
See,
without explaining
I
this.
disagreed with that grouping. I think
No one said that. I posted it for everyone to answer.
Absolutely said that. I will find the Discord.
Yeah, I could
Can you
recall.
find it?
I could recall it being switched, and I was like, "Good, that's how it should be."
Okay, whatever. No one cares. No, is anyone's Return to Shawbuddy opinions going to affect?
Sam, where are you on the
I
screen?
think-
Sam, I'm gonna like give you like a high five like that. There, I'm gonna pet you on that.
Steve has the high ground.
Yeah.
I think Zach was
Good
I
boy.
think Zach was gerrymandering story arcs.
Steve, everybody high five at the same time.
Wow.
What was that?
Wow, that's a. We don't talk politics here, Sam.
Dead too sweet me, bro.
Right.
Yeah, don't make One Piece political.
Yeah, don't make One Piece political.
I'm on your side with this, actually. So you've got
When it comes to
someone in your corner.
gerrymandering, don't.
Yeah.
Thank you, Vero. Thank
Yeah,
you,
of
Vero.
course.
Stop the count. Stop the count.
Steve, you're out. I'm gonna kick one person out for every comment. I'll be the only one left, and then I'll kick myself out. Next one on this list. So this one is interesting. It was ranked 3 lower than ours. So it's ranked 17 on the audience ranking. It was ranked 14 on ours. Punk Hazard. Does anyone have strong opinions about Punk Hazard?
Positive or negative?
Caesar
I
Clown.
don't care.
Okay,
well,
Sam-
it's my
Cesar
dead
Clown.
Punk Hazard
Gangster
is my
Castina?
dead last. I ranked it last. It left, especially rereading it, a sour taste in my mouth, specifically in how almost all the female characters are written and talked to. Tashigi is talked down to so much during that, and really never gets a moment to prove anyone wrong. Like even when she beats Monet, it's after Monet's weekend, and then Zoro carries her out on his shoulder because she needs to be rescued again. And it feels like Smoker and Tashigi are both really done poorly. Like Smoker jobs out the whole arc, and then Tashigi, like I said, is written poorly. Kinemon doesn't feel like Kinemon later. Like it's just there's a lot in it that leaves a sour taste in my mouth. Even though like Caesar's great, it's really funny. Yeti Cool Brothers rule, stuff like that.
Ed, can you just talk about the Yeti Cool Brothers hot pants for a little bit?
Yes.
Yeah.
They shake their butts more than most characters in the show. It's hard not to notice it. Once you notice, you can't unsee it.
Ed, could you show us a part of your room where you just have a giant poster of the Yeti Cool Brothers butts? And
I don't think they're in any of the calendars, unfortunately.
I don't think they're in anything of anything.
No.
We're gonna find Yeti Cool Brothers merch. We have to.
Oh my god! But they don't even have faces. I'm sorry. The Yeti Cool Brothers, despite their butts, are stupid.
Yeah.
No,
Because you don't even. Okay, I'll leave.
they're
They're
like
they're allies.
I don't know
No,
why
they're
we're getting
not.
so much. I don't know.
allies for the.
they're cool with gay people. Like vocally.
Oh yeah, they
so.
do have that line.
So,
I forgot
yeah.
they had that line. Yeah, that's canon. Yes.
I think it is hilarious that the low power grunts of the series are these like giant Yetis who wear like
With
gas
no
masks.
faces.
And say,
They
"That's cool
never
for everything."
reveal their faces. Why don't you
But
get to
that's
see
cool.
their
It's-
faces?
I can't believe you're wasting all this time about Punk Hazard and you're talking about the
Steve,
Yeti
no
Cool
small
Brothers.
talk. We're talking about the
Mocha?
arcs of consequence.
Zinc
Now,
Frog
Sam,
says
please
Mocha
continue.
Mocha is a great
There's too much
character.
running. This arc made me tired.
Yes, I agree.
I think Punk Hazard has like I think it's like my favorite stretch of art in the series. Like I think everybody has this like very cool posture. There's a lot of like really stark like black and whites. And I think it's an arc of like really, really wild like pulp. It's a very pulpy arc with a lot of like weird ideas and stuff. That
Just want an OJ right now.
Well, no, if you told me the plot of Punk Hazard, you said Smoker and Tashigi come back, you'd say all this mad science stuff, I would think, oh, this is going to be my favorite One Piece arc ever. It's just the sum of its parts is so much less than any individual part, which is too bad.
I think that's my complaint for a lot of post-time skip One Piece.
Running from
generally.
smoke.
Yep. Also, to jump off what Ed just said, I just finished rereading it, and there are 3 separate jokes in it where the characters complain about how much they have to run. And so, like, I'm reading, and I'm like, yeah, we don't like it either.
So I think Oda's made comments sometimes how the characters like take their, take a life of their own. They, it's funny that they were complaining directly to Oda as he was writing them. I think that's how many series authors could say their characters talk back.
I hear these complaints. What other arc has a sexy harpy lady though? Let's be real. So, I rest my case.
That's it. It's like number one.
Showing up, and then now Kiji showing up.
Yeah.
I think the beginning is fantastic. The end is fantastic. The middle is not.
And the middle is what? 1 volume?
I mean, when I say the middle, I mean the middle, like 3/4 of it. I mean, the first few chapters are really good, and the last few chapters are really good. I like the stuff with the dragons, and I like the stuff with Nami.
The middle half.
Kids.
Remember how exciting it was when dragons first showed up, and you're like, "Whoa!" And then Zoro cuts its head off.
Yeah, that's true.
And it farts.
I will say,
no, Kinemon farted.
Yeah,
the dragon did not fart. No, Kinemon was able to speak fart, so that even more important. Sorry, Belle, go.
No, don't worry. I was gonna say I really like when Frankie's on Chopper's body, and Robin gets so upset with him speaking, like, "Please don't speak anymore." So good.
Yes.
Oh yeah, and the alliance with Law and like Robin.
Yes. Oh yeah, that
like,
that
hey,
too. I think
pirates are known for stabbing each other in the back, and then Luffy just turns to Law like, "Are you gonna betray me?" And then Law says, "No."
I think Miles hit the note,
and then Luffy just hands on his hips like,
"Some of the parts."
I don't know how that happened, but there we go. We lost Dan, so now we're back to this version.
And the porn bots are back.
And the porn is back.
But I could get rid of that.
It's the only thing holding them back.
Dan was the wall holding back the flood of porn bots. While we get Dan back, I will say on my reread, the Chopper stuff in there is very underrated. Chopper and his fury at Caesar and his stuff with the kids. Chopper often doesn't get the shine, but like the stuff in Thriller Bark and his stuff in Punk Hazard, where he gets the shine as a doctor and his whole doctor philosophy, it's really great because sometimes he's very underutilized.
It's the first time they really do that since Thriller Bark.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I was gonna say I think Punk Hazard and I think Dressrosa is, which we'll definitely talk about. It's like it has a lot of really cool things and it doesn't really weave together in like a compelling narrative. Because these are all really cool things. I think Usopp has some standout moments. Frankie, Nami, everyone I think does get a really good standout moment. It's one of the few arcs also in post time skip where everyone's together. So there's that too.
It's funny. It's like these are the opposite of what you guys were saying about Skypiea, because you were like individually some of the small pieces in Skypiea, like you're like whatever, but like as the whole, they are like cohesive and wonderful. But then like I think Punk Hazard is good for the individual pieces, but as a whole, I'm like, okay, I don't really give a shit.
Yeah, we could go to the next one. We'll have it. Imagine you're seeing the list populate if you're watching the video. Steve, are you okay? Steve's having some sort of
Steve's imagining
psychological breakdown.
The list.
Sorry. Do you want me to...
Is that how you imagine things usually?
Oh, I'm sorry. We're on. Well, I'm looking at the list right there. I'm like, oh wow. Should I do it more? We're on YouTube.
Is Miles holding the list?
I'm trying to grab it.
We're on YouTube. Should I do it more like how we do it on YouTube with the?
Yeah, that's it. That's the
Wait, hold on, Steve. We have to draw a red circle.
We need a giant arrow. Oh, and now it's bell time. What's up, Bell?
I'm also not sponsored by Raycon, obviously. You could tell because my headphones fell off. So
yeah.
Steve, wait, can you
using
YouTube?
VPN.
What's up?
Steve, can you present how you would look as a YouTuber once more?
Okay.
Too much pressure.
Let me get into character. Sorry, it's.
Oh wait, that is not a good. There we go. That's better.
Okay. What's the
figuring this out.
What's the next
the
one?
Next one.
Yeah.
What is it? Romance Dawn. It's Romance Dawn. It moved up one from
my
our
reaction
rankings.
when my eyes are numbers.
It doesn't. I don't think that's the case.
Oh,
I
online.
think that's
One
just not
eye
our
is
thing, yeah.
live and one eye is numbers.
I gotta do like a face melting, like a poltergeist.
Oh,
like,
now my
reaction.
eyes are
That should
numbers.
be my-
Okay, no one's eyes are numbers. Does
This would
anyone
be a
have an
cool,
opinion on Romance
movie
Dog?
poster.
This is why we can't do video. We
It's
just don't have the attention span.
But that's what makes it great.
Doesn't
Romance Dawn opinion, it's a good hook on the series.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like not really like it's not like an arc you can compare to the other arcs very easily, but how can you not love it?
I actually
No.
put it pretty high. I don't remember that.
Yeah, I have it like right at the middle, and I think there's a lot of good moments in it, like the good first Zoro Luffy moment, and really the entire whole first chapter is extremely strong. So it ended up getting relatively high for me.
I don't know if I have anything I want to say about it beyond that. Does anyone else have? Are Belle and Steve okay? Next.
I don't think I'm surrounded. This is weird.
Yeah, you are, sir.
I refuse to participate. No.
Okay. This will translate to audio grade when that comes out.
Right,
next
audio.
one. Next one.
I mean, I don't know.
Logtown.
I'm just like holding back on talking because I did so much talking. So
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm letting like this is other people's chance to kind of go into detail about this. I've said my piece.
I think here's a good question. We'll take questions from the audience also. Abigail asks, "What is happening with the hands?" LOL. No one really knows the answer to that.
Pirate
But Dan
Champion.
is back.
Yay, Dan!
Yay.
Sorry.
Dan.
What happened?
Nothing. We were just about to talk about Logtown ranking number 15, which
Once
went
again,
up.
justice for Buggy.
That's pretty good. 15's like almost the middle.
Oh, Logtown.
Um,
My brain didn't register where Logtown was. in the story.
now you don't have to imagine it anymore unless you want to look at Steve imagining more. Logtown's number 15. Any Logtown opinions, except that it's short?
I'm
really-
amazed it's ranked this high. I guess
Yeah.
Smoker's got to pull a muscle carrying this arc on his back.
Based on the anime,
I think
we have that
Dragon-
guy with
that's
the
why I tried-
gigantic cocaine nostril.
Dragon gets
Daddy
a
the
page.
Father?
No, the
I
I thought
assistant
I
from the
was
cooking.
Daddy the Father.
Cocaine nostril. That sounds like a One Piece character.
I'm Cocaine the Nostril. I'm here.
A nostril
Weird
of
because-
cocaine.
It's weird because like cocaine is his surname, so his actual name is Nostril.
Cocaine D Nostril.
You know, the sound of them carrying that giant tuna as it like hits the ground and slaps that always creeped me out. I never liked that noise of the fish hitting the ground as they're running to the boat.
Wow, we have really got it to this point in our arcs of consequence ranking.
I want to know what people like about Logtown.
No.
I like Luffy
Is-
getting hit with the lightning. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And dying.
Yeah.
Yeah, like all the past and history stuff with Gold Roger like getting explained,
Yeah,
but really
that
like the
too.
best part of it is Buggy turning into a car.
Yeah,
It's
Hard.
it's
That's-
better on a reread when you try to picture Bartolomeo in certain places. Be like, is he there in
Yeah.
the crowd? And like certain stuff like that. But
Dan
I mean,
just
it's so
reminded
short.
me to synchronize with the latest Forced to Watch 4 Kids. I can't believe we didn't do impressions of Mark Wahlberg talking about Buggy being a transformer. Buggy the clown? He's a transformer?
Missed opportunity.
You a
I-
transformer, Buggy?
I've also never watched it in the anime except for the 4 Kids dub. That's the only Logtown I know.
Well, then it should
That's
rank
really
lowest
funny.
for you.
Yeah.
I think that it's this high, by the way, not because it's good, but because everything below it is not as good. It is like the Logtown line. This is fine One Piece.
I'm trying.
Drag his ass.
God, I have blocked that guy so much. Okay. We're focusing. We're live and focusing on what we're doing. The next one, Drum Island. Why?
The old man arc. Because listen, it's,
I want Verona's to do it.
This
I know,
is
I
one of the biggest discrepancies, by the way, in the whole chart.
It's not a
7
bad
less than what
arc.
we had.
it's
Yeah.
just like if the people that like it are, I don't know. It's like, do you
Have
have
heart?
a father? Do you have daddy
Thank
issues?
you.
Like this is the
Thank
arc for
you.
you. Are you a
Zach
father?
is a father.
I am.
Yeah.
I'm not daddy the father, but I am a father.
Zachy the father.
We lost Steve.
Like that.
No,
We
Steve's
got
there.
Steve.
I feel like Drum Island is to One Piece as Columbo is to classic television. Like it is a timeless story, but yes, it is it's definitely an old man arc.
Yeah, I mean, I've
Do you want
always
to make
been
that
an old
comparison?
man.
Never mind.
I will say what I said in the Discord when we were discussing it. It's also has a hot, awesome old lady, and we need to recognize that. Kureha rules.
Yeah.
Great, does
I mean-
rule.
Yes.
Also, Chopper, like
This just in, we got a super chat. Super hot old ladies in your area.
Stop attracting the bots, Steve. Jeez Christ! Oh my God. Any other strong? I just think the audience, is wrong here, and that's okay. And people could be wrong, even if it's 1,000 people. I think that's okay.
It's because Strum Island is a beautiful little story, and the fandom tends to like the big epic ones more.
Yeah, they like power scaling. That's
Yeah.
what it is.
How are you gonna power scale?
Here we go. This power scale, the doctors, the 20 doctors that have no names. I pick
Doctor number 1.
Second doctor from the left, number 4.
I think Kureha's taking Law in a fight if we're going doctor to doctor right now. So.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Kureha
absolutely.
wins.
Yeah, Kureha.
Kureha
Is
could beat
Kureha the
Kaido.
strongest doctor in the series? Yeah.
Yeah.
Is Kureha the strongest person in the series?
Sorry,
What about Marco?
I just have to point out Mike Morris' comment.
He's
of Waffles
retired.
What
20
about
porn bots.
Marco? Yeah.
24.
Drum Island.
Is Vegapunk's new invention the pornifistas?
Get out.
I hate the internet. Okay, next.
whose gain is going way up here?
I think it's
me?
Dan's. Yeah.
What?
Dan.
Anyway,
What am I
Too
doing?
hot right now is what I was trying to say.
I just want to say about Drum.
No, that's the opposite direction, Dan.
Wait, is it? What?
Yeah.
How's that? Is that better?
No,
Worse.
it's worse.
That's louder.
What?
There you go. Whatever you
there
just
you go.
did.
That's the way I was turning it before.
Yeah. Mm.
Okay, whatever.
It's all good. Don't touch it.
I was just gonna
Sam?
say, like Drum Island escapes the problems I usually have with ranking like Little Garden or Impel Down, where it's a middle arc, but because it has its own like pretty defined beginning, middle, and end, it doesn't feel like a middle arc.
It makes me weep. That's why I ranked it like
That too.
3. Yeah. Miles, where did you put it on yours? Do you have yours in front of you?
I put it number 9, but I think honestly it should be in my top 5 because it's
Yeah.
for all the reasons we've discussed. But also Chopper's one of my favorite characters. He looks most like a reindeer in this arc, which I really appreciated. And also this is the arc that made me a lifelong One Piece fan. Once I watched that, I knew this is something that's important to me for the rest of my life type of story. Whereas other arcs don't have that effect on me, and rereading it, rewatching it, it hits just as hard every time. So
I was gonna say, someone mentioned, Jan Habter Michael said it's a generational gap, and Vero also mentioned something similar to that. We don't have ages for some reason, we forgot to ask, but we'll have when people got into the series, and we'll parse out Drum Island. I think that's an important one because there's such discrepancy. I am interested as to why. I had no idea Drum Island was so divisive. I guess between being a middle arc versus a great arc. But all right, let's move to the next one, which is 13. Same place, Zoe. Anyone here have strong Zoe opinions? Thought that was a good
I
one.
really like Zoe
Yeah,
for the like. I didn't rank it that high, but I really like Zoe for the scene where Kinemon and Momo arrive. I do not remember the other dude; he does not exist. But
Raizo?
Momo and Kinemon arrive
Tundra.
in Zoe.
Yeah,
And
Cat Viper and
Raizo.
Dogstorm, like getting on their knees and
Yeah.
reviewing that Raizo. That
That is
That's
a
like an all-timer.
tearjerker for me.
Mm.
Yeah.
By the way, since we are on YouTube, I should say Roger's Base put this as number 4. I don't know if anyone else here like put it in their top 5.
I put it
of
like
the people here.
fairly low-ish.
You put
Just 'cause,
it.
like,
You
it's
put it in 17. I mean, that's not
yeah,
far
like it's
from the average
yeah,
here.
yeah, it's just like not like it's not an arc to me. It's just kind of like a lore dump mostly.
But it has Jack getting killed by an elephant.
I think
Killed.
this was said during the podcast, but I like how different the story is told. It doesn't like it's the back and forth through the like flashback and how it's told very unusually for a One Piece arc that builds up that tension of like what happened or showing up. There's a few that kind of throws you for a loop, like when Wanda's like, "We'll take you to your friend's corpse," and you're like, "What happened?" And they just made that broke because he's a skeleton.
I mean, I think. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I know. I was gonna say, but besides that, I like the tension of like not giving you everything at once and just.
I couldn't agree more because every post time skip arc up until Wano, and I'm not caught up on Wano all the way yet, but has felt like a slog in the middle of it. And I really love Zoe because it felt like that beginning of an arc excitement where you're like, "Ooh, what are we gonna do now? Ooh, what's this?" for the whole arc. And it helps that it's a little shorter, but it kept up that anticipation and that fresh feeling the whole time.
Agreed. Next one and is Baratier, which was also ranked at exactly the same as ours. Are you okay, Belle?
I am. Why?
You just look shocked about that.
Yeah, I think I ranked Barati a little higher. I ranked it pretty high. I forgot our poll was like really lower than mine, so I was like, oh, wow, yeah.
Well, I mean, I would.
Fine.
Yeah, you ranked at 5. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that is pretty high, I would say. Vero, you also ranked at 5. I wonder why.
Just
No
give it now.
reason.
No. Oh.
No reason at all. I don't
Vero
know.
loves
It's-
Mihawk.
I do. Known Mihawk enjoyer here. I don't know. Barati is like, it's my when I want to watch random One Piece and not pay attention while I'm drawing or whatever. I put Barati on. It's just like cozy to me and it's fun and Sanji and Zeph saying goodbye to each other makes me cry like a baby every time. So I don't know. It's good.
That's why isn't that an arc for guys over 30? That feels like an arc for guys over 30.
I guess I'm a guy over 30 now. I've made it.
I mean, I've been saying that the whole time. Any other Baratier stuff?
Baratier is like that's the first like shit gets real arc.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's real
Like-
consequence to it.
Like not just like meeting Mihawk is like holy shit, but also it's the beginning of splitting the crew between different islands. Like we send Zoro and Usopp to go chase after Nami, and then that's kind of like this hanging thread that that is kind of left as a mystery as we like focus on beating this bad guy and like the sort of like the story hopping the it's like frog hopping between like plot points.
Thank you,
Heroes.
Tommy.
I'm going to agree with everything that has been said.
And Sanji's goodbye to Zeph is like a
Yeah,
it's like that's one of the best emotional scenes in the series to me.
Agreed. Yeah. For me, Baratier used to be in my own personal rankings a lot lower. And again, another admit, I think the reason for a while was the only way I experienced it was through the 4Kids dub. And it wasn't because of that one of my favorite, not even my favorite of East Blue, but I ranked it number 8, like on a reread and everything. And especially like linking with Whole Cake Island later and everything with Sanji, it like hits so much more now. The stuff with Mihawk, everything said before, like Baratier at the time didn't for some reason feel important or like it really resonated with me, but it really does now. Yes, Maddie, it did ruin my life.
4Kids. Steve, is it ruining your life right now, as the title of Forced to Watch 4Kids indicates?
No, I think Force Watch 4Kids is like therapy at this point, but I remember
TSD.
February 2005 being completely dumbstruck by how they handled it, but I don't get why we have to talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Well-
and I think Pearl, for a while, like people bring up Pearl like a joke because of the dub and I guess marketing and stuff, or how they aired the episodes when I watched. Pearl was a sticking point that, like, when I thought of Baratier, I thought of Pearl and him being around a lot longer than he honestly is. And you reread it and you're like, oh, whatever. Like,
Yeah.
And I love the.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I love the Don Krieg fight, like the war of attrition. Just like you're kind of like anticipating the moment where he can break through the armor, and like just like how exhausting that process is really satisfying.
Don Krieg gets a bad rep.
I mean, he's an annoying guy, but like the fight.
Yeah,
is,
he's not charismatic either, but I think he's a great adversary for Luffy. And I think he's got a very underrated design. And yeah, I think that fight is really fun. It's a good early One Piece fight before everything gets like too choreographed and Sakuga.
Yeah, or
Like, I don't want to see Sakuga with Luffy versus Don Krieg because I don't believe that both of those characters at that point would move that fast.
Yeah, like when you see like the episode of East Blue Sanji versus Gin fight is like, it's like too much. It's like too cool.
Yeah, I feel the same way, Sam. Though I think like the way they handled like Mihawk versus Zoro was really good. Every time I revisit that arc, I realize just how good of a plot point it was to introduce the best swordsman in the world so early into the story, because it really truly gives Zoro motivation, especially because in the manga his flashback is very brief.
And that's kind of it's like a trope of One Piece. Like just when you think that the heroes are like at the top of the world, that's when they introduce like a guy who's way stronger than them.
Yeah, that's
like
what I was
Mihawk
gonna
or Aokiji or
Aokiji, yeah.
I was gonna
all of
remark
Marineford.
about like what Barati does really well is that, like, I know we've all talked about like how great seeing Mihawk show up is, but like it really sets the stage for how big of a divide the Straw Hats have to the rest of the world, and like Oda doing that very early on feels so purposeful and like really sets the stage for everything else going forward, because you know Luffy at this point he's had a little bit of a struggle dealing with villains, but it's usually like, hey, like I made a rubber, I can get through this. And then we see Zoro like powering through, injuring himself to win a fight just to prove a point. Now having to go against the very person that he's been seeking this entire time. So yeah, it just sets things up so brilliantly so that every encounter afterwards feels like, okay, there are actual stakes now. Like who is going to show up along the Grand Line that's going to be a super powerhouse just like Mihawk.
Yeah, just your understanding of like what's possible in this world is constantly being uprooted.
What I think is also cool is Mihawk, his design has held up so well from almost 25 years ago. Like they didn't have to change. They had to change all the straw hats. They had to change everything. But Mihawk, the moment you see him, you know, oh, this guy is something else. And we see him now, and it's still you still get that same effect, and it's pretty cool how he's
still somebody's hot, thick goth dad.
Absolutely.
I think he most recently showed up during that one of those Wano intermissions after they dissolved the Seven Warlords, and when he
came to his
like
house.
Yeah, they came to his house, and you're like, oh, now he could really cut loose. I think that was almost like one of the lines, and you're like, oh shit, what the hell is he gonna do? And it's crazy that character introduced almost a quarter of a century ago still has this kind of like gravitas around him. Yeah,
Shanks
I like he's got very Samuel L. Jackson on a movie set, keeping union rules in mind, where it's like, you have me till this time. As soon as this time hits, I'm done. So that was Mihawk in Stampede too. He's like, I'm good.
Yeah,
that was him in Marineford too. It's like, I didn't agree to fight Shanks. I'm out.
Yeah.
Although he get one cool moment with I think Luffy. He almost cuts Luffy, right? And Luffy is like the foresight.
Luffy foresights.
And Mihawk shows up to all the warlords meetings. He's a teamster.
Yeah,
he is, and I'd say, look, we talk about Kuro as the 401k villain. We should really appreciate Mihawk for his ability to say, I've done enough work for today. I'm leaving. I need me time to drink with Shanks, I assume. Or get bothered by my annoying daughter and son at home. That's how he sees it. All right. Next, this one, although I guess we ranked in the same place, Thriller Bark is our number 11. I feel like this one's been moving up in the rankings over time as well. I, again, don't have proof of that. That is just my feeling.
It's an aesthetic. People love the horror aesthetic.
Yeah.
The Oars
anyone
fight
here-
is my favorite fight in the whole series.
Yep.
It's got great stuff like Brooke's backstory and Zoro and Kuma and Sanji's there too.
Piranha versus Usopp, I think, is a pretty like top fight in the series,
Zoro versus
especially for
Ryuma,
Usopp.
Zoro versus Kuma.
Yeah.
Zoro versus Kuma, yeah.
I personally think we're like in the middle of peak Oda art at this point.
Yes, I agree with that.
Not saying he's not good at drawing anymore, but I think that you could tell he doesn't feel rushed here.
I agree.
Also,
The only thing
it's
that
just
keeps
so
it down a little
funny.
bit is Absalom, and by the end, I was getting tired of Moria. I think I mentioned that before.
Yeah.
I
Psych Eggs and Thriller Bark are also like top tier.
Totally.
I will
Yeah.
say, like, the Oars fight, I agree with Sam. It's very good, but it does reach a point, especially when Moria gets in the stomach, and then you go to the Moria fight, where it starts feeling a little like, okay, like, let's wrap this up.
I love any like war of attrition fight where it's just like we're doing all this crazy stuff just to knock this guy down, and then he gets back up because he like you can't feel pain, and just like all the crazy false climaxes you have to like tear through just to keep him down for good. Like they have to break him so hard that his bones are shattered and he literally physically can't move anymore.
Yeah,
That's
because
so
he's
cool.
No, yeah, it's cool. I just think
And
the
the
Shadow
team-ups-
Asgard after with Moria is where
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
but they beat.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I don't
Oars,
care
I'm
about
done
yeah,
with-
like
yeah,
what-
that's
once
the part where I'm like, come on, we're
once Moria's on his own, it's like okay, let's just
yeah.
let's throw the
It's-
trash out.
It's totally the boss fight where Moria's like Liquid Snake. You blow off the hind D, but it's like then you see Moria's
coming
parachute.
back.
It's like, I guess he's.
And then he's in
still
the Metal
alive.
Gear, or is this the Metal Gear?
Well,
Yeah, why did I say the hind and not the Metal Gear in that video game called Metal Gear Solid? I think one of One Piece's biggest problems with its arcs and movies is great hook, great first acts, great ending, slog in middle, and that's that. Unfortunately, that's what I think about with Thriller Bark. I mean, beautiful art, great set piece, great gags, but like a sloggy middle. Great for Zoro fans, Sanji fans.
Nami's best look with the wedding dress.
Sanji fans would prefer to forget about it.
Vero,
start of a
would you like to
narrative.
talk a little bit?
If I start talking about Thriller Bark Sanji, we're gonna be here for the rest of the night, so I'm just gonna hold my tongue.
Well, we did say no small talk, and that sounds like long talk.
Very long talk.
We could move on because this next one could be a long talk too. Oh, sorry, Miles.
This is my number one arc. I just gotta say,
then we
Thriller Bark is
should.
actually my favorite part of One Piece because I think the middle is not a slog to me, and I think it's the arc that best tells a full story that I am invested in the whole way. It's got some of the best fights, best gags, but I just, as a whole, I think it balances the comedy and the action best out of any part of One Piece. I think it does both of those things just so well and gives the Straw Hats a lot of fun time to interact because there's not 5 billion characters. And so you get to really see the Straw Hats interact with each other, form a mech mostly, have fun with each other in a way that feels almost sitcom-esque. And I really, really appreciated that.
Yeah.
Oh,
that
Frankie
is...
and the Frank. Yeah,
Go.
Frankie and the bridge is like maybe my favorite gag in all of One Piece.
Yeah.
And plus, like, this is the first time we have Frankie and Robin in the crew, and also Brooke is such a great character. And I think, as Alex said, definitely one of my favorite backstories in the series, and one of my
I think
favorite
Frankie
songs.
had like
in
the
series.
best. I think Frankie had the best like honeymoon phase as a new crew member. Like he was like the most fun to like get used to him being around and stuff.
Well, Frankie's the most fun. That's why I think.
Brooke never
He's
got the
a ton of
opportunity.
Yeah, he got a
Frankie's
bit in
never-
Shabati, and that's about
Yeah.
exactly.
I still love
Frankie-
Brooke, but yeah, he got a bad honeymoon.
he got a singing career out of it at least.
They don't bring it up enough.
And you got to meet some really
Yeah.
cool Satan worshippers.
If
Yeah,
I could-
us.
If I-
I agree with Aaron Hatch. Zombie tree.
So yeah, zombie tree is the correct answer.
If I could sound a little more, I don't know, literary smart here, I think one of the good things about Thriller Bark is it's a great hint at the New World, because Moria is one of the first characters. Because like, you know how like Don Krieg is the first character we're introduced to that like came from the Grand Line and it messed him up. The New World messed up Moria.
Yeah,
And it's a nice little hint at just like how things are gonna get much harder later in the story. And also like most antagonists in One Piece arcs are just like an antithesis of Luffy in some way, and Moria is just a reflection on maybe not so much putting in the work, because he did put in a decent amount of work before he took a back seat, but kind of just thinking of your crew as like
He's selfish.
disposable, like selfish and like disposable things, and not necessarily people.
Well, he also, I think, if I recall correctly, his story was that he lost all his crew to Kaido, and that he's like, okay, I'm done. I can't be invested in my people because it's gonna just hurt me.
Well, he's also
Luffy
like
would be if Luffy lost his crew, and instead of being invigorated by Jinbei later, if Luffy just gave up.
He's like an
Gecko
ultimate
Moria-
take on Crocodile. Like Crocodile lost to an emperor, Whitebeard, and then he like became bitter, and he's like, well, I'm just going to create an army to, a military
beat
might
Whitebeard.
became his obsession.
Crocodile is an example of using spite as a motivator.
Right.
Moria's like,
and then Moria's like, oh well, I'm gonna try to take over the world, but like if it's too much work, like whatever.
Moria's like the SBSs where you see the bad versions of each of the Straw Hats. That's Moria.
Moria is a lot like your modern billionaire, where they don't actually do anything, nor are they actually intelligent. They just hire a bunch of other people to do all the hard work.
You're
and then
telling
they take
us
credit for it.
that Elon Musk is Gecko Moria.
So
Locke's
Moria,
just like Gecko Moria.
So Moria's all like, "Hey, everybody, we're going to space," but like, what? I thought we
hangs
were.
out.
We're gonna
come on,
send
people,
Thriller
let's go to
Bark to space.
Work on
Nobody asked for this.
No,
Hangs
no,
out on
no.
Twitter and gets really hung up on hard drive.
Oh my god, this actually does sound. Moria would do all of these things. I just want to say. Let's move. I do want to say I completely agree with all of that. I think it's weird. Thriller Bark's completely different than Barati 8, but it mirrors it in a lot of its kind of, I guess, highs and lows, and that suddenly a very important villain comes in and it's a 7 warlord and changes the whole game up in the middle, or at the end, I guess. Anyway, next one. This one was next to Drum Island, the biggest difference. It ranked 6 points higher than an hour survey, which we had at number 16, and that's Dressrosa.
Bitches love Doflamingo and Law. That's all I gotta say. I don't know, like people. That's
Yep.
it. Like,
Moving on.
And Corazon. We'll add Corazon.
And Corazon, yes.
Yes.
Some of us like Sabo, okay?
I don't know
You're so
her.
right. I
That
forgot,
was
I
one of the
forgot, I
most
forgot.
memorable like week-to-week experiences was Sabo's return for sure.
Mm-hmm. But then we
Thank
also
you,
had at the end
Sam.
of the arc Sabo's amnesia.
Yeah.
So,
Don't
That's
you-
Okay,
No.
okay.
I feel bad about the punching bag we've turned Dressrosa into on the podcast.
I'm in the middle
Well, the
of a
anime
reread.
made it even worse.
I
The
don't.
anime was difficult to watch.
Yeah.
It's just like so long, and like it's
think
not very. I mean, I've said this.
I remember like
5
3
million times
episodes
on
of
the
them
podcast.
hovering to the ground with the tontadas, like Robin
Yeah.
and yeah.
I think it's one
Rebecca.
of those one of those arcs that I tend to say that reading, binge reading or like not binge watching because it's still very hard, but like binge reading Dressrosa makes it a lot better than I think it is like reading week to week,
Mhm.
and I think that's why I really like it.
Even in the reread, though, once it gets to past Law's flashback and gets into the birdcage segment, and there's lots of fights involving characters who aren't the
Yeah.
Straw Hats. That's where
Yeah,
it gets
that
hard
part
because
is rough.
I love the Coliseum. I love the pro wrestling aspect of it,
Yeah.
the booking. all the twists and turns and stuff like that. But yeah, just that like once it gets past the birdcage, or once the birdcage starts, it just
Actually,
sort of,
I actually love like the one-on-one fights for the most part. Like I love Zoro versus Pika. Like I'm still waiting for like something like that, like
That was pretty incredible.
fantastical
Yeah, I agree.
to happen like again in One Piece.
I
And
mean-
I like how like fast the Grand Fleet members fights are. Like each one basically gets a chapter. And it's just like bam, 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 because there's like 10,000 of them.
I will say that this, to me, Dressrosa is a lot like what Miles was saying earlier about Punk Hazard, and what Zach said about a lot of the start of Post Time Skip, where there are so many cool, great moments. Like you could just list like this thing in Dressrosa, and it's awesome. But the sum of its parts, it doesn't quite mesh. And like I'm not even quite a great example. I'm going through my reread, and like they just beat Jola for the first time, and then I just remembered, oh right, Jola comes back again. That it already feels so long, and now it's like, oh, we have to fight people twice. Like there's a lot in it where it just feels too much, and so it like I think in the original Arcs of Consequence, you called it a tentpole arc where highs and then a lot of drops in the middle, and it really feels like that.
Miles, you were going to say something before. I just want to give you a chance.
I'm just really shocked, disappointed, surprised, upset. No one has mentioned the best part of Dressrosa, Senor Pink.
I was gonna, as a joke, because we will talk about this for another 20 minutes if we get on.
Yeah, you got to be careful here.
You've gone too long as it is.
Some people like it, some people don't. I'm curious. I want to ask the people that aren't Ed or Zach, what do we like about Doflamingo? And I'm not being facetious here. I just want to hear actual, genuine, thoughts about.
I thought he was so interesting up until like he actually got his. To me, the part that ruined it was like where his crewmates like basically gave him the gun and gave him the champion of evil idea. I thought that was really like not very interesting.
I've never liked
Rocinante. We're gonna live amongst normal people now. Shut up, Dad.
I thought that was pretty interesting. Like you expect this like really tragic backstory, and it turns out he's just like I'm
sorry. I feel like I'm hijacking other people's opportunity to talk about Dofi. His backstory is not tragic. I mean, it's tragic that it's a shame this had to go down, because I think Dofi was always a demon spawn. Part of that maybe is nurture, growing up in that environment with the celestial dragons, but he is a little shit. And it wasn't like when the townspeople like strung them up. That's not what set him off. He was already a little bastard before that. There was just no saving him.
I think that's interesting as a rug pull, but also the story definitely hyped Doflamingo's backstory up a lot. Like
he was so mysterious.
He's got a checkered past. He knows the true evils of the world that
you don't know
understand.
his past law. That's how you'll fail.
But it is kind of funny to think like, well, I mean, like, yeah, he would say that his past is fucked up. You know,
I mean, it's similar to like how I feel about Hody. It's like I don't sympathize with Hody, nor do I sympathize with Dofi, and that's fine. Like I don't think
it's almost like they could have been more sympathetic, but they ruined it by being like little turds about it.
It's not Batman. Not every villain has to be someone if they just had therapy, or if capitalism didn't exist, maybe they wouldn't have turned out this way. But like Doflamingo is a really cool villain. He's got like interesting powers. Great design. I feel like every time I talk about Doflamingo, I always lean negative, and I feel bad because I know he's well liked. I don't know. I just don't think of him as like one of the most iconic villains, but I think I think like the generation after me, I think a lot of the younger fans do. But I don't know. It's just...
I will say, because I think I like him. Probably, I lean more towards liking him than I feel like the overall vibe of this crew. But I will say, and I think this has been brought up before, that like I think what makes him disappointing, at least in this arc, is he always comes across as this great planner. He's the dude in the underground. Every time you see his powers, he's manipulating people like physically. And then when we actually fight him, it's just like big string whip, big string hit and stuff. And he doesn't like any of that cool, like behind the scenes manipulator. It's like gone. And he's just another dude we have to big punchy.
Well, up until right until the very end, where he does take control of Rebecca, but doesn't try it on Luffy. Really, I guess Luffy's too strong for it.
And the fact that, like, to me, he doesn't even really feel like the villain because we know he's like this has always been kind of my hang up is that like he's a subordinate of Kaido, so like beating him does not feel like this big accomplishment.
Well, Caesar was that way too.
But Punk Hazard is a much shorter.
But
arc.
Caesar is also supposed to be kind of a joke. I think Steve said this about Hody when we did our 10-hour arcs of consequence earlier in the month. But just because you could be a good villain in the sense that you're not sympathetic, you have, I think this is like on paper a good villain because it is a bad guy that you would want to beat. That does not make them interesting. That just because you have all the good qualities of a villain. Doesn't make you an interesting villain. So, like for Hody Jones,
there's a few threads in Dressrosa where I think like I want to know what Oda's original idea was because it feels like something got streamlined like nearing the end. Like maybe he had a more interesting backstory than.
Yeah, I also don't think that arc could have been.
Ended up happening.
That arc did not need to be 10 volumes long.
Right.
I think that's probably one of my biggest gripes.
Neither did this discussion, but
All right, let's move on. Number 9. Well, to be fair, that was like one of the most interesting discrepancies. Number 9 is Impel Down. Ranked one better on the audience poll. There were a few people who ranked it. I know Sungwon ranked it number 2.
I ranked it number 1.
You ranked it number 1. I knew someone right here ranked it number 1. I forgot who. Belle, why don't you talk about Impel Down then?
I think it's pretty obvious why I like it so much. Like, I'm gay.
Wait.
This is news. I've never. You're gonna have to
Do we have a
rewind
graphic? Do we have like a big graphic that says bells?
Like, I really like Ivankov is like I'm
Yeah. Ivankov's amazing.
Yeah, Ivankov is amazing. I really like how she works, how she speaks, how she presents herself, and I really like the connection with Hockey Horror. And like, not only that, but the idea of a gay paradise in hell, like, haha, that's so cool. I really like that. And I like Luffy going through everything without the crew and just figuring out how to do stuff without having everyone he knows he can count on, you know? I really like everything about Impel Down.
D0 Alex, I'm down bad. I'm Impel Down bad for Magellan.
I'm sorry. Being horny for Magellan is fine. Being horny for Hannibal, we've got to have a conversation. I don't know.
It's the vibe.
Impel Down bad.
They're fascists also.
some people are attracted to
Nobody's
a
ever
beer
horny for Soldeth.
Those are really good. That's a really good combination of words.
One Piece
anyway,
characters
anyway.
are like the Golden
I'm
Corral
impelled down
buffet,
bad.
and when you pick Hannibal, you are literally trying to combine
What?
the jelly beans that you can get there with the cream corn. Why would you do this?
And
Maddie, leave me alone.
Death, can you remind me who Death's voice actor is again? Because you're sticking up for, being...
Oh, isn't that is it Zoro's voice actor?
Yeah, it is. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just saying you might have like an inherent love of
Sadie
Death
is
for
right
that
there.
reason.
He's just like a weird little dude, but then post time skip, he's a bigger little dude.
Yeah, it's weird that they made a big.
Yeah, but he's not. He's still little. He just has a
Bigger
long
Hannibal.
body.
But he's
It
wearing a
makes no
trench coat.
sense.
Like you think, like maybe he's like standing on a
He's
few
three
other people.
that's stacked on top of each other.
3 kids in a trench coat. He's 3 Deaths in a trench coat. That's what it
The
is.
Bigger Luke of One Piece.
Yeah, Hannibal,
He's
the
Mr.
dad bod.
Deathman.
But
for the go ahead, sorry.
I think
Vero,
I
I
can
think-
sum up. Oh, Vera, you go.
No, you go.
I was just gonna say I can sum up my Impel Down feelings in one word, and that is
What?
Jimbei.
Jimbei, absolutely.
Yeah, I
sad.
didn't even talk about Jinbei. Like,
I think it's cool. Like it's fun because we like. I'm a sucker for bringing back old characters. It's fun. It's cute. Whatever. I like it because they don't succeed.
Yeah.
Which is kind of neat. And yeah, kind of what Belle was saying. I think the characters are all really fun. I like. I don't know. I like the villains. It's a solid arc. It's delightful.
So-
I mean, if you,
Blackbeard shows up at the end.
I was just
Like
gonna say
what?
quick. I posted just for Belle Zinc Fog's comment, Buggy with a ponytail, which I know.
yes,
Buggy
Belle, you
with the
told me you were
Ariana
gay
Grande
earlier?
puzzles.
I'm gay.
Buggy's having his moment. Like
Yeah, Buggy's having his. He's so cute.
He's having his moment. He's an emperor.
he is.
Mi- Miles, sorry, go. Oh, sorry. Vero could
No,
finish up
Miles
then
will say
Miles.
it. You go.
Yeah,
You
okay.
go.
I mean, from a fan service perspective, if you could ask me which 3 characters at this point in One Piece I'd want to be brought back, I'd say Crocodile, Bon Clay, Buggy, and oh my god. So like, it's just
Yeah.
Thank you, Oda. Holy shit, it was so much
Mhm.
fun.
And Bon Clay gets like a super Bon Clay to look up to, which is like it's like
Well,
Oda
and then
was
Bon Clay
like-
ends the arc. Bon Clay ends the arc.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Oh,
I think it's.
tried badly.
Yeah.
yeah. That makes me a little verklempt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing Impel Down like leaves me with this feeling of like joy over how Oda depicts his very canonically queer cast, and then like to make the active decision to have one of our heroes, Sanji, like be transphobic, like an arc later is very confusing to me.
Yes. Yeah.
And like kind of, and I don't think it sours the arc for me, but I am like I want to open up your brain and see what's going on in there because it's very. It's strange to me. I don't
Yeah,
know.
Maybe he
it's
got
very-
taken over by some sort of otherworldly creature for the Sanji
Sure,
thing. That's
yeah.
just it's the best explanation I've made up so far. We should move on. We still have 8 more. We have our top 8. Dan, I don't know. 9 was Impel Down. That was the big surprise. Number 8 is the same as ours. Whole Cake Island / The Reverie. Vero, I know you really, really, really like Whole Cake Island.
Yes. It's probably personally one of my favorites. I don't think it's the best like out there, but I put it as my number 1.
You put it as your number 1, yeah.
Okay, I'm a sucker for like a wedding crashing thing, so I was
Sanji.
delighted. You just whisper Sanji. Okay, all right. It has the coolest villain, Big Mom. Her power is terrifying. I think Big Mom's is so terrifying, and like the way that she's got like people kind of willingly going along with her powers to make their own lives better is kind of cool. It has Pudding, my sweet baby girl who's literally done nothing wrong ever in her entire life.
Did she murder people?
I don't give a
Nothing
shit.
wrong in her entire
She
life.
thought about it. She thought about it. Okay.
Just was making sure.
Nothing.
By the way,
Little
when
baby.
we play our tabletop role playing game Vero with Dan, which you should listen to if you haven't, the Grand Line, you blame me for wanting to murder people in my character, and yet for
Okay,
for
I
Pudding,
have to
it's
play-
fine.
it's delightful to watch people be crazy, but as the crew, like mom now, I'm like, no, we can do less murder. But anyway, Whole Cake Island is this really cool thing with like familial concepts that I really, really love, where you have Big Mom's family who are like they're cruel to each other, but they like insist that they do love each other or whatever, and then Judge's family who are also cruel to each other but like don't care, and then like Sanji's found his family that are like all adopted, but like he's adopted by Zeph, and then he's adopted into like the Straw Hat family, and there's this like real love, and then it's the dynamics when all put together are really cool because like everybody thinks that they're in the right and their like sense of justice is like correct, and I'm seeing all of those like perspectives put together, and then like the heartbreak that it like creates for a bunch of people, and like the way that I'm not explaining this right. It's really cool. I really
You
like
are.
that. And I really
The-
like that like Sanji doesn't fight Big Mom in the end and does what he does best by like caring
He
for
doesn't
people,
really even
which is what he
fight
wants.
anybody in that arc. Like his
Yeah.
fight is the baking.
Which is
Yeah.
awesome.
It's so
It
cool.
is, and it looked like a good cake.
It's like the sincere love of the Straw Hats is like it basically makes the other families like unravel, you know, because
Yes.
they're
Yes.
performing, they're doing what they think basically everybody else is doing, which is like lying and backstabbing and being cruel to each other. And so just like the existence of like these Straw Hats who will always be there for each other,
Yes.
kind of like makes their lies like Pudding, for example, is, you know, living a lie. She's not happy with where she is in life. The fact that this person can just like have this very, very, very simple like expression of affection towards her, it's just like, fuck,
I know some
Yeah.
people like didn't like it, but I don't know. I think
I
being like given actual genuine affection and a presence of like your family that you're like, oh, we do love each other, whatever, but like you're never actually given any kind of love.
Yeah.
I really like that.
People boiled it down to like, oh, Sanji called her hot and that was enough. It's like, no, look at that
furthest
panel.
thing, yeah.
He's not being regular, like horny, weird Sanji. He's
No.
being so sincere and genuine. Like Oda
And
good
made a
Sanji.
point to draw him looking so sincere when
And
he
the
usually would draw him
contrast.
differently. Like, yeah.
the contrast of it being like the world's like simplest, like kind of the dumbest compliment possible. It like it
it
means
being
so
enough for
little
her.
to him to even say it, but to
Yeah.
her it's like, fuck. I think that Whole Cake Island is like the like from like the as like the artistic narrative quality of it. I think is
You
I think
ranked
is
it
the
number
most-
2, by the way, Sam. I should
Yeah,
mention.
This arc
Sam,
to
you're
me
my
are,
best
like,
friend now.
Yeah. It's
Or
my
you're
number
ride or
3.
die.
It's my number 3.
I have
so
this is
top 3.
So you could also be Donnie's friend if you'd like.
Yeah,
I have a
Don-
very-
well,
I have a
Donnie's
very-
already my best friend.
intimate relationship with this arc.
Steve, you look like you're trying to be sworn in.
Steve.
I'm waiting.
Steve, what do you want to say?
Steve, do you swear to tell the
Oh, here,
whole
Steve.
cake truth, the
Steve,
whole
roll
cake
five.
truth, and nothing but the whole cake truth? So help you, Big Mom.
God, Usopp.
God, Usopp,
as
actually,
they,
that's much
as they
better.
say in weddings, that's a beautiful third eye. Something I totally forgot if I even mentioned on our podcast, because when we got into the last part, I totally forgot that we had already talked about Whole Cake. But I've been rewatching the arc recently, and I realize this is the first time skip arc where I think Oda really hit it out of the park, because an ongoing trend in a time skip world of One Piece is like the conflict of the arc is bigger than the Straw Hats. It relates to the grand scheme of the world, and I know eventually it's leading to like Luffy being like the most notorious pirate, eventually king of the pirates. But Oda does such a masterful job of intertwining the bigger picture and having one of the main characters have stake in it, and that is Sanji being involved with it.
Mm-hmm.
This arc could have easily just been the infiltrate Whole Cake Island arc to get the poneglyph rubbings. I'm sure that would have been fun, but the fact that Sanji's tied into it, and him, pretty much being held hostage, having that intertwined in that just made it way more of a compelling story, because there was great moments of character development you had there, especially between Sanji and Luffy. It really makes the arc better, because I don't think I would have enjoyed it as much if it was just them like sneaking around Whole Cake Island. There wouldn't have been half as many stakes. Maybe you could have done that with Jinbei being like, oh shit, I wanted to leave, but then she brought out the wheel. So I think this was a step in the right direction, and something I like Wano, but Wano doesn't necessarily have that. At least for one of the Straw Hats, I still think Wano is great, but I rewatching that, like getting the Sanji backstory that I didn't ask for, but I'm very thankful for, because it's a lot better than I remembered. It's really good.
Whole Cake is like, to me, I think Whole Cake is the arc that feels like it's trying the most to express something that is like kind of more personal and not so like broad, like fantasy adventure storytelling. Like the ending, where it ends with Big Mom like getting the cake and singing her song, which is like a really
And
gross,
eating it
morbid
too.
song, and then the song is like cross cut to like all the other side characters like getting their shit rocked and like maybe dying, and the Straw Hats are getting away, but like leaving all these plot threads unsolved that are still unsolved. And it sort of ties into like it established this very real feeling like fractured family in the Charlottes, and then it doesn't like presume to like have an immediate solution to it either. Like it just sort of like it opens the wound to reveal that the wound is there, but like it's still kind of this like it hurts at the end, you know, like it has a very like abstract emotional ending that that isn't trying to like answer any questions or provide. It's not there for lore. It's not there for action. It's not there for anything other than like just the weird raw abstract emotion. I think the Katakuri fight is great. Like my favorite. I love when One Piece is all about like momentum and like war of attrition and just like the characters wearing each other down. And so like I love that about. I even love the Cracker fight for that reason. And then Katakuri is like, okay, now a day later, Luffy has to do that again, but harder. I think that is really exciting. I think the chase is really exciting. In the ocean fight, like there's an actual seafaring, like ocean naval battle.
It's like the first one we get in One
Yeah.
Piece, which is wild.
Yeah, it is wild. Well, Don Creek is.
Was that an ocean? Well, it was over the
Yeah,
ocean.
they were
but it
near
wasn't
an
like
ocean.
naval boats shooting each other.
Yeah,
and
fair
were
enough, fair
rabbits jumping
And,
from boat to boat.
There was no were-rabbits in Paradier. That's true. That's a point against it, in my opinion.
And like
It has-
Carrot and Caesar are like my two favorite characters, and they're
Yeah.
both like at their best here.
Actually, yeah.
We should move on because we're already
Yeah.
talking. I said small talk, and I know this is long talk, but I still think we should. Anyway, number 7 we should talk about. It moved up 2 points from ours, and that's the Shabari Archipelago. I just want to say also, I feel like Whole Cake Island is kind of the equivalent of what Miles was saying about Logtown. Like, the only reason it's that low is I feel like everything above it is just like also fantastic. Yeah, anyone have opinions on Shabari?
This was the best arc to read week to week
Yes.
ever of anything I've ever read in my life.
It's
Because, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I remember when I was reading, being like actually pretty like scared at the end of it with Kuma and everything. Like it was like I couldn't put the book down. I was like, I need to go to bed. I can't keep reading this. But it was like so much that it really had me like gripped, and I thought it was awesome.
Yeah.
like so I ranked it number 2. It is one of my favorites. Part of that, it's not even just nostalgia, but I caught up with the manga week to week near the end of Thriller Bark during the whole Moria Oars fight, and so Shabari was my first arc reading week to week, and like every chapter, like every ending and every next chapter, something huge happened. And even on a reread, like it just flows. Everything's exciting. They open the world up so much. You learn about the celestial dragons. The stakes are true. It is the first arc where the Straw Hats lose. Like the arc, not like when Luffy loses in a fight and then he beats them later. It just ends with, oh, they lost. And you're unsure of what's going to happen. Like, yeah, you had
and then
Rayleigh talk
it
with
kicks off a
Kuma.
whole saga of losing.
Yeah, it's absolutely devastating. You don't know what's going to happen. It's got a good mix of world building, comedy. Duval is great. All the side characters they introduce, honestly, Duval is great. Kami, Papagoo are great. We get Rayleigh and Shaki, which is another, like we were saying with Mihawk, the world opens up like, oh my goodness.
Celestial dragons are the
Rayleigh.
worst.
And that
Absolutely.
celestial dragon dog, that dog's an asshole.
Right?
You get the supernovas. This is where we get the introduction of all the best characters, Beige, Kid, the other ones who aren't Beige and Kid.
That's not going to be a controversial opinion.
Sorry, I don't know them.
And for no
Bonnie.
reason, there's Apu.
Okay, I'm with Zach. I defend up. There's not a
thank
supernova
you.
I dislike. I'll be honest. Like,
No, they're
I
all
thought
good.
I thought I was champion.
okay.
of
I
the
like
Apu.
Hawkins. His
No, no,
power is cool.
I really do think they are all cool. I just make fun of Hawkins at this point because he's just like, hey, everyone, I'm Hawkins.
Yeah.
I don't want to be here. Guess I'll do something.
I had a friend who was mad later on that Hawkins had a lower bounty than Apu. This was years ago. He's like, I can't believe that. I was like, it's Hawkins,
he
whatever.
doing?
First of all, bounties don't mean what you think
Exactly.
they mean. Yeah.
But he's
Bounties
a
are
dinosaur.
like, you know, bounties are like follower accounts. I guess it's like whoever like, I guess who in like the new world retweets you the most and you know gets your bad habits out there is only gonna like increase your bounty. If you're not producing enough content in the new
But
world,
Steve, when number goes up, you feel good.
totally. Yeah, we've all watched
Go
that
up number,
casual
more
video.
people listen.
Number go up.
I want to say,
Can I detract from the conversation for just one moment? This is just for Belle because I knew I had this somewhere near my desk and then I realized it fell on the floor. I couldn't find it, but you know that one's for you.
Oh, baby, yes.
Belle's gay, everyone. Miles.
But yeah, Shabati just like it just kicks. It's like so fast paced, and I understand the feelings of like, well, it's a small arc. It leads into bigger things. It can't really stand on its own, and yeah, I get that, but it's such a
That's
fun
not even
ride.
my like. I don't even have that problem with it. Like I have that problem with some arcs, but like Sabodi still kicks ass despite that for me even.
Yeah, it just moves. It's,
Miles,
I think
what were
the
you gonna-
best paced One Piece arc.
What were you going to
It's
say,
definitely the best.
Miles?
You would think like in like Dragon Ball, the world opens up when Goku meets his brother or goes Super Saiyan or whatever. The fact that One Piece, to me, like becomes more than it. I'm
Yeah.
frozen, but
No,
One
you're
Piece
good.
becomes more than it ever was, at a moment that, on its face, is just going to a new island. Like there's not a plot thing that happens. It's just because they've made so much progress on the Grand Line that the world opens up. That you can realize, oh, this is what the next 25 years of my life are going to be. And that excitement like has not
Yeah.
left me in the 14 years since this arc was came out. Like it like this got me, this made the One Piece just one of my favorite things too. I had a desperate and intense need to be with One Piece the rest of my life.
So two reasons I relate, Miles. First, I think we both caught up at around the same time because I think Shabadi, like right before Shabadi was where I caught up. Second, since there's all this beige talk, I have to say, and I guess it's more Whole Cake Island related, but we're the two dads here. And I think we both relate that Beige is definitely the best father in One Piece, and I feel he murders people, but that's okay, as we discussed earlier.
There are no doubt he loves his kids. He loves them so much.
Absolutely does, and his wife,
That's
great
what's
husband.
important.
Yeah,
Love
I
that
mean,
guy.
yeah, I'm also a wife guy, so it's I agree. We should move to the next one. I could talk about Shabadi all day. I love the hell out of it. I agree with everyone. Now, this one was down 2 points from our list, and that's Jaya Skypiea is number 6 instead of number 4. Steven is not here to defend it in earnest, but I think Sam, that is your favorite, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know if you want to say something about it since
It
it's your
just
favorite.
is the best one.
Oh, okay.
It just is the most One Piece.
All right.
Um,
Who does not like Skypiea and thinks it should be lower? And I know this is also a divisive arc sometimes. Okay, no one's stepping up.
If you split out Jaya would be maybe my number 1 arc because that is the most pure expression of One Piece to me.
Yeah.
But I mean, I love Skypiea. I've always loved Skypiea, but Jaya is like One Piece, like distilled. So
mhm.
Well, how
You
can
put
you
them
have Jaya
together-
without the ring and
Yeah.
the bell at the end?
Yeah.
look,
You
I
could say that
think
about
it's
any
he's
arc,
up.
though.
he's up. It pays off. It pays off. I know. But
I
going
just
up-
remember the excitement of like reading through Skypiea. And I've like, I don't know, since I was marathon reading it, I think I read it in like 2 days or whatever, and which didn't give me time to like sit down and think about it. Like I was just like enjoying the story for what it was, which I get to right before Luffy goes to fight Eneru, and like that's when it hits me, and I was like, holy shit, wait, Luffy's rubber, like it's not gonna work. And it was so like, I just didn't occur to me like whatsoever until that moment, because I like, and I think I wouldn't have like had that fun moment like if I was reading week to week, and I'm like, oh, that's actually kind of I get to like
Podcasting would have ruined that. I
Huh?
think podcasting would have ruined that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Every week
happy
we'd
we
be
were
like,
not doing
well,
that.
just
Yeah.
gotta wait for Luffy to show up because rubber.
I'm glad podcasts weren't invented until many years after.
Oda does a good
Skypiea.
job keeping Luffy and Enru like out of each other's way until that moment,
Mm-hmm.
and like not really like inviting you to think about it that hard.
Yeah. Yes.
Now, continue,
Again,
Vera.
it's number one because it has the best outfits. So
It
It
has
does.
the best outfits.
I
Wait,
agree.
but you
Goggles
like
Zoro.
Sanji's like pink Hawaiian monstrosity, right? I think we
Sanji's
talked
It's
Skypiea
about
good.
that.
outfit is so fucking cute. Are you
It's
kidding
good.
me?
I'm with Vera.
I'm sorry,
with
you don't
Vera.
like it? No, defend this
I
to me
actually
right now.
no. I think I prefer the second one when him and Usopp wake up and they go on the Arc Maxim. I don't know. I like the
It's
blue a
cute
little bit more.
outfits.
Yeah, I'm with Vero, and also tank top goggles Zoro.
Also, that is
Great look.
that might be my favorite
Yeah.
Sanji moment in the series. Is the thank you for the light when he
Yeah.
gets after he gets blessed.
Oh,
And it's, I always forget about that one too. And it's like whenever I see that, I'm like, oh yeah, that happened. That is so fucking
Yeah.
awesome.
I thought
Because-
your Sanji pick was going to be drop kicking Satori.
Yeah.
Oh well, I mean that's my cathartic, personal, subjective pick.
That
crazy.
fight
That's
isn't
the-
as long
that
as you
point-
think.
No, in the anime it is.
It's crazy because that's like kind of like Sanji and Usopp are out of the arc so early for a while. It's kind of surprising, but it's cool that they do kind of get a moment of redemption. And Usopp on the Arc Maxim is really funny.
So funny. And
It's-
Yeah.
Enderu,
Oh, the
Enderu
cool
could
flip
straight up
where he
murder
falls
him.
down on his
It is-
face.
one of my
Yeah.
favorite panels, like single panel, the way Oda draws like the
Yeah,
action
the-
of you can just follow.
Yeah.
Good.
Or him
Yeah.
opening the door, seeing what's going on, and then he closes.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Nami's also, I think, underrated in the moment of her holding off Inaru, of just using her like
Mhm.
climb attack and just like defending in such a cool, like small way, but showing like she's standing up to the big bad in which generally
Similarly-
I feel like in other shonen she would just be like swatted aside.
Another one
besides, sorry, I'm just gonna say, besides Dressrosa, I don't think there's a single arc where Nami doesn't do something cool.
Sure.
I love the moment where like Enru is explaining to like Zoro and Robin and Gonfall, like he's explaining the survival game to them. Like, oh hey, I had the survival game. I predicted that 5 people would survive, and then like that's when he like singles Nami out.
Yeah.
He's like, okay, we got one person too
Oh,
many.
yeah,
and then
Nami's
who's it gonna
whole
be?
thing.
But then all the good guys, they all turn their weapons on Enru. They're like, it's gonna be you.
Yeah.
We're gonna take you
That's
down.
good.
It's also
Yeah.
really great when Ender's like, "You're the chosen ones. You won," and then they refuse, and he's like, "What? Why? Why?" I don't-
Enru is a great.
Enru's a great
like,
villain.
He's a great
Yeah.
capital V villain.
Yeah, he's my personal favorite. He's a lot of fun.
Skypiea is
Big
like,
mom still, but yeah.
it's like the Skypiea is a big reason why like I usually don't lobby the criticism of like, oh, this part is too slow or this middle part is boring, because like to me the thing Skypiea proved to me is that One Piece is a series of detours. Like it's almost like a series that's like swimming against the stream like on purpose,
Yeah.
because it wants to show off. I love how they set up, because we're fresh off of Alabasta. We're explaining, we're showing like the warlords and Whitebeard, and you're getting ready for like all this big picture storytelling, and then they just go in the sky for 40 episodes, completely unrelated to all of that, except until the end where it like loops back perfectly. Like I remember that being like a really that was a big revelatory moment for me. It's like, oh, you can do that. Like you can almost like do things the long way on purpose in a story. just so that that moment lands. And the way that it has like all these million subplots that are like twisting and turning and like built and they're like falling into each other in this like really organic way that culminates with the bell being rung, which is extremely satisfying. The Nolan flashback is amazing. The
Kabouter Man is paid off later, so I don't think
Kabouter Man.
I want to keep moving on since we're like way over, which is partially
I had at
our
least one
fault
more thing
here.
I wanted to say, but I'm trying to remember what it was now.
Let the Skypiea man speak.
So like One Piece, Skypiea was like the first One Piece arc that I was like seriously watching. Like I knew the story up until that point, but like it was Toonami that got me hooked, and like I marathon through it from that point forward. And I remember when like Luffy kept getting knocked down and like continuing to fight like Enru. I remember like having this weird thought of like I was putting myself in Luffy's shoes and thinking, if I had to do this, I would have given up. And it's weird that I'm thinking about that in like a fictional context, because like, you know, obviously the hero always gets up and always wins in the end. But for some reason, it's like, oh, like I'm admiring this fictional character for doing something that I can't do, you know, like just in terms of you know, his conviction, like that really surprised me when I was a teenager, when I was a wee 15-year-old.
Let's go to the next one. And by the way, Kenta is correct. A podcast recording has to be 3 to 4 hours. That's the rule. Next one. Let's see. The next one was ranked 3 lower on this one, and Steve can't say anything about it because it's Arlong Park at number 5, instead of number 2. Belle.
I'm
Hi.
sorry.
I would like to apologize publicly for my mistake.
Did you purposefully put it down there, by the way, when you ranked that?
No,
Okay.
I promise.
You probably forgot to drag it up or something.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. I was like
I'm sorry,
through
Belle.
the top.
Belle, which book do you want me to throw at you? Volume 8, 9, 10, 11? Just let me...
I was going through
By the way,
top
for those who don't
ones.
realize,
I forgot it
Belle
there, you know?
ranked Arlong Park dead last on their poll, and we had no idea why. And Belle now is saying that they didn't mean to.
It's funny because Belle didn't even know why.
I just need to say,
didn't even remember I did that until I heard you guys like dragging me on the podcast. I was like, what happened?
Oh no.
Steve, you were muted, but I'm sure you said something witty there.
I'm saying that's like, it's the equivalent of you know, checking your inbox after shit went down without your acknowledgement.
Yeah, any besides Belle, any thoughts on Arlong Park?
if I'm understanding this correctly, does this mean the audience ranked Wano higher than Arlong Park? Not to talk about spoilers, but I think that's fucking insane. That's all I have to say.
Yeah,
I don't give a.
I
You're
have
crazy.
feelings about that in general, about how, yeah.
Well, I again, remember it's like an amalgamation of data. So people, I mean, I guess there were a lot of people who put Wano above Arlong Park. Yes. Yeah.
And you know what that is?
means.
That's wrong. That's all I have to say.
All right. There's nothing else to say about Arlong Park. If not, we could move on to. We all love it. I don't know if there's much else to say. It's obviously a foundational staple to the series.
We talked about it a lot in the last episode.
We did.
Yeah.
We did.
Yeah.
Number
it's a game
4.
changer. It's
Yeah.
I think it's
Also a
it's one
top
of the-
Zoro look. I like his blue shirt.
A top
I-
Zoro look.
I
Yes.
think it's a great story that you could like give someone the spark notes on without them having to know the context of like 20 side characters. I'm sorry, I didn't purposely mean to sound like I was ripping on Wano, but just it's a great story.
It was Dan's top pick. Dan, you could come on just to say it's not that bad. You could your mic. Or not, because he's
Unmute
frozen.
your mic, use your words.
Okay.
His camera looks frozen. I think connection issue.
Yeah. Let's move to the next one then. Number 4 is Alabasta. which is about where we ranked it. We ranked it 3. Again, do you notice an arc we haven't discussed yet?
It's insane to put. All right,
Vero, we'll hold hands. We can get through this. We can get through
gotta
this.
go.
Vera, hold their hand. They're trying to have your hand.
Trying to hold
There
my
you
hand
go.
here. Alabasta is like the most romantic. I mean, I can't be mad at it being number 3 or whatever, but like Alabasta is so romantic and like just perfect. I don't. It has like all of the story beats that make a cool pirate story. It's amazing. So the person saying Yamato wasn't Arlong Park, fair point, but I don't know, still not good enough.
I mean, you could say, like, there's lots of good characters that weren't in the early arcs, including many of the Straw Hats. That doesn't necessarily make those arcs bad.
Yeah.
Also, we got
yeah,
to
go
update
ahead.
the board. Alabasta's not up there.
Yeah, come on, Dan. No, I'm sorry, Dan.
Dan's not here
yeah,
anymore.
yeah.
Dan
Oh,
dropped
okay.
because of
Dan's not here,
No,
Dan.
he's there. There it is.
Oh.
See, his screen is
Dan.
there, but Dan fell. Yeah. Okay. Let's move on to number 3. Can anyone guess what number 3 is?
Please let it be Wano.
Is it Wano?
Dan, drum roll, please. What is our number 3? Oh, I see you joined again. Here, I'll.
Yeah, there it is.
Wano. I think we all loved Wano. I just don't. First of all, there's recency bias, which I think is especially true with the audience. I did see comments like, "With that badass fight, how could you not put Wano number 1?"
Zach, why's your instinct for like everything to be like, okay, so Wano's placed here. Let's talk about why they're wrong. why don't we celebrate all the things
they
that
are
people
wrong.
love about it?
I want to cry because they put Wano on number 2.
Zigfrog
Well,
is correct. Wano is the only arc where Orochi dies.
That is
and-
true.
Well, he doesn't.
Yeah.
No, he dies like 8 times, and every
And
time
are we
it's
are we are we
great.
even sure that he's dead now?
No, we're
Well,
not.
yeah.
My thing with ranking Wano this high entirely does have to do with recency. I like Wano, but
Yeah.
it's not even over yet. We haven't
Yeah.
left.
Right, yeah.
And so it's hard for me to rank and even rank it that high, like until we get a whole and really let it settle. And that's why it's like having it up that high. Like I had problems putting it in my ranking because like I don't know, it's not done and it's so
Is
fresh.
there anything that
Yeah, I
could
don't have a
happen?
concrete opinion on the arc yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Wano at the end of the day could be somewhere up here. I don't know if 3 would be where I put it at the end of the day, because it is still huge.
I agree, Belle. I agree.
Bell is
I
showing
wonder-
Yamato.
I
Yeah.
wonder if the people who also placed Wano super high also have been watching like our more
The
anime.
anime.
They wouldn't just
The
So-
anime
only-
does a lot.
anime
But I
is
am like,
gorgeous.
I wonder if the anime is elevating people's.
The answer to that is yes. We have data.
We have the data.
I think we have the data. I saw this earlier that indeed people who are caught up with the anime were more likely to put. So here it is, Wano. I think for the people who put Wano number 1, 33 of them that aren't caught up with the anime put it number 1, and 83 who are caught up with the anime put it number 1. So it's like what, triple or double? I don't know. I could do math.
That's math.
I am what's it called? I'm about halfway through Wano. I put it number 3, I think.
There you go.
Now, that is weird to do, but I had to put it somewhere. And from what I've read and what I've watched, because I watch a lot of the anime too, I'm pretty close to being current on the anime. Yeah, the anime makes a big difference. The anime does absolutely elevate it and does change my perspective on it. But you know what? That's true for Drum Island. That's true for Alabasta with the Dvorak. You know, like Wano, I feel like if it keeps going in the direction it's going, and from what everyone says it is going to be an all-timer. And I think we're going to come back on it and like it more. I think you all are being too thoughtful and too conscientious and being more critical of your own, like trying to fight your own recency bias, but you may be overcorrecting because Wano is sick as hell. Everything about Wano is so fucking cool. And I know you all know that.
No, we do.
Yeah. It's a top 10 arc. Easy. The fact that
Yes,
people are a
I
little
agree.
overhyped
Yes.
on it. The fact that people are overhyped on it, Fucking let them. Why would they not be? It's so
No,
fucking
yeah.
cool.
Yeah,
Okay,
we shouldn't. Yeah, like
That's a good point.
If the
That's a good
people
point.
if the people are excited about One Piece, we shouldn't be like, hey, turn it down.
Wait,
come
Steve,
on, we gotta be modest here.
can you show us your YouTube face for the hype of Wano here, just a little bit?
Okay.
Wow, that
I
is
don't like that.
horrifying.
That's
That's taking it
terrifying.
off the big screen.
And subscribe.
Yeah, it's like I'm just hesitant on Wano right now because it's almost like a new relationship. You don't want to say I love you yet.
That's yeah. That's exactly
that's
where
what
I
it
feel,
is.
Steve.
It's because
That's
things are going well, and you kind of see a future there, but you kind of just you don't want to make it awkward. But like, Wano can't hold up to me at 15 rewatching the Arlong Park arc like every few months just because it rocked my world. But that not to say
Or
that
you're making it
won't
sound like a
happen in the
girlfriend or
future.
something.
Yeah, the Arlong Park rocked me.
All right.
In the
Vera's
sack.
Vera, you're headed off.
I have to go.
All right, and then
Sorry.
you won't see what else. No,
Bye.
we'll see you. Bye. Okay, we should move into. There's only two left.
Miles brought up really great points.
Oh yeah, no, I agree.
Miles is right.
I 100% agree, and in fact, that makes me like kind of reassess my skepticism. I agree. It is like saying "I love you" too soon. That's what it feels like. I think that's a really good way to put it, Steve. Too. The number 2 arc, which was 3 higher than in the crew rankings, and I get it. This doesn't surprise me, but I am surprised it's this high. Is Marineford, and the post-war. And most importantly, return to Shabadi, which is the most important. Also, we have Shannon Strucci joining us here.
Hello.
Don't give them the finger.
No, I'm giving
what are
you
you?
the finger,
What is it?
fly boy.
I get flipped
Not
off
you,
for joining
Shannon.
the stream. Hello.
Hey, Shannon. We're talking about the top 2 arcs right now. Do you have opinions on Marineford, or do you think this is way too high for Marineford? I'm trying to remember where you put it.
I have like 3 friends watching One Piece for the first time right now. And like 2 of them are at around Marineford, and I liked it, but their hype for it is like, yeah, this one's really, really fun. I would not put it at number 2 personally.
You
But
put
I'm
it
not,
at number 12.
I did
So-
on my well, that was before everyone was catching up and sending me screenshots of it like every single day and like screen recordings and stuff. But yeah, I mean, I'm not like upset.
That's
I know.
good.
I think I can tell number 1 is going to be my number 1 anyway, so I have nothing
Should
to
we just
complain
go
about.
Marineford's like the furthest One Piece will ever go in being like a tragic arc. You know, like One Piece, they always like end victorious. Like even the number 1 arc we're about to get to.
But also, Marineford is like an event. It's almost feels like a tournament arc without being a tournament arc, because it's a lot of big names, a lot of ones we met priors, and some we're finally seeing in action for the first time, literally in action. And who doesn't want to see that in like an action adventure show? And with that, with that dangling carrot of rescuing Ace, it was a great motivator. It wasn't just like, oh, gotta beat everyone up and be the best. It was like, no, we're doing this to save somebody.
Sorry.
I was saying, like, that was our first year podcasting, and covering that arc week to week.
Yeah,
that was a blast. That was so much fun. That arc was like, it couldn't have been better timing. That arc was like made for coverage every week.
Yeah.
Marineford is really good at, like, I remember spending that arc wondering, like, how do they resolve like most of these problems? Like even if like you get Ace back, like, does that mean Luffy has to fight Ace and Whitebeard for the One Piece someday? Does that mean, like if the Marines win, what happens? If the Pirates win, what happens? And then the actual answers to those problems are perfect. Blackbeard shows up, he wins. Shank shows up, Law shows up, everyone dies. Just like things that you thought weren't possible in this story happen.
Yeah. Sorry to cut this off. Belle is heading out. Josh just entered, and Jill's going to be joining us when Belle leaves. So I want to say thank you, Belle. It's great that you were gay the entire time.
Thanks for holding down the fort, Bell.
I think you're muted, but yes. Bye.
I thought I unmuted myself. Bye-bye.
Any other? So if Jill's listening, Jill could come in whenever. Any other Marineford thoughts? But Miles, it looks like you.
There's just like the 3 sagas together. I guess you could consider Amazon Lily too, but whatever. Of the Sabody, Impel Down, and Marineford. I think this is the weakest of the 3.
Wow.
But all 3 of them made my top 5 for a reason. I just think that this is, peak One Piece in so many different ways, and the different kinds of complexities and different kinds of One Piece you get over the course of those 3 arcs both completely change the game, redefine what One Piece is and what it's about, but also still have plenty of opportunities for Inazuma in the background changing sex every other panel for no reason without any explanation for a while. Like, we get a lot of fun stuff going on in this whole saga, and then it makes this Marineford really hit as hard as possible. And I mean, I don't care about Return to Sabody, but
it didn't influence Miles' decision. Do you see how it didn't influence Miles' decision?
But it has Caribou.
So, oh Jesus, stop it. Welcome, Jill, by the way.
Hello.
Is there anything on this list you just find purely offensive before we move to the number 1?
I rated Wano really low. I don't know.
You did, I remember. You were the outlier. I think.
We'll see
I
how
put
it
Wano
goes.
like in the middle.
Yeah, I don't know, but I do want to show off my Marineford shirt.
Shannon, do you have anything that you find like patently offensive? Ooh, I won't.
Oh, I wish I wore mine, Jill. I thought about it.
I have mine
saw it.
somewhere. I have mine somewhere in my...
I'm not saying offensive, but I like Long Ring Long Land and the Davy Back fight. I'm sure y'all talked about that a lot with it coming in number 22. I like that, like Baradier.
Patently false.
And like Fishman Island and Baradier and Amazon Lily and stuff being above it. I'm like, I don't. But I mean, all my favorite stuff is really high. So all my favorite stuff is in the top 10.
Perfect.
I have to say, Sam preaching to the choir for Skypea, number 1 should be number 1. Everyone is wrong if they say otherwise.
Good to have you here, Jill. Did we just hear Miles as we have to defer to the audience? They're always right about everything. That's what you said, right? Okay. So number 1, I have a little story for number 1. So I wondered, first of all, this number 1 was like far freaking away number 1. Not even close. Nothing else was even close. It shouldn't be surprising. But I was talking to Brodsky, looking through the data. Did anyone rank it last? Was there anyone who said this is the worst arc? There were 2
Anybody
people.
not have it in their top 10?
There were 2 people who ranked this the worst arc.
What?
One of them I had heard of. And I was like, this can't be the same person as is written here. I look it up. Person's name is Dan. I don't want to call them out here, but they're a very nice guy. Was surprised. Not this Dan here, a different Dan. Sorry, I don't mean to put you on the spot.
That would have been awkward. Gosh.
Well, I don't. Am I coming through now? Like,
yeah, you are.
Okay.
You are.
Am I still hot?
No, I think you're a medium spice level.
Yeah, like we spent a good deal of time like trying to help Zach like remember why he recognized the name, and when we found out who it was
I found out it was someone very intimately connected with one of the Straw Hats. So much so that it's actually one of the voices of one of the Straw Hats that ranked Water 7 NES Lobby the bottom, and it's actually the voice of Jimbei, who ranked Water 7 NES Lobby at the very bottom. Now,
it's because Jimbei's not in it.
It's because Jimbei's not in it. I look at it.
Could this be another Bell Arlong Park situation?
Oh no.
Yeah.
No.
It could be. It could certainly be. Wait, I actually have their list here because I was so just floored that was like one of the only people to rank Water 7 the lowest.
Disclaimer: do not harass this person.
No.
No.
No, if any, he is great, and I'm not pointing. It's just I was just shocked that there was like one person who did it, and I knew the one person.
Ranking number 1, the Jimbei arc. Number 2,
so it is
Jimbei arc. Number 3.
It was
arc where
Impel
Jinbei
Down,
says
Impel
something
Down.
enlightening.
Impel Down, Romance Dawn, okay. Fishman Island, Arlong Park, Jinbei's mentioned in Arlong Park. Wano, Jinbei's cool in Wano. Whole Cake Island, Jinbei's cool in Whole Cake Island. Marineford, those are the top 6 or 7.
Hey,
and
there's
then at the
nothing more
bottom,
American than voting for yourself. I think it's our right.
I can't really. Yeah.
100% agree.
Exactly.
100% agree. At the bottom
Fishman Island
is
agenda.
At the
Patreon.
bottom is Dressrosa, Thriller Bark, Amazon Lily, and Water 7 Ennius Lobby. None of which have Jinbei. Let's be honest here.
So true.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. If we think about it, Jinbei's not in them.
We could talk about Water 7 and how amazing it is. I mean, okay, a few people. We know Sam didn't rate it number 1. Is there anyone who here? So who do we have here? So I rated it number 1. Who else do we have here? That's sitting here that I have their
rated
rankings.
it number 1.
Number 1 for me.
Josh, where would you put it? Because you didn't submit one, right?
It's a stone cold 2. 2, folks.
You're just doing that to be contrarian because that's your thing.
No, not this time.
Yeah, Josh, what's your number 1?
Oh,
Yeah.
Alabasta, easy. I'll take it.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
a good answer, right?
Ah,
there.
that makes sense.
The old disaster.
Because I'm saying like, oh, Water 7 Ennies Lobby. That's straight up Robin. So I don't know.
Dan did
So I
it
was
at
curious,
2. Vero and Bell did it at 3. Who else do we have here? I don't know. Jill did it at 2. Where's Shannon's? I think Shannon's at the end here for some
Number
reason.
1.
Yeah. Shannon, you want to talk about it? Because you just came on?
There may be some level of bias because I was in middle school. I'm in my 30s now. I was in middle school, and that's the arc I caught up on. Caught up at the very beginning of Ennius Lobby. But I rewatched it last year, and then, like I said, I experienced my friends like watching it for the first time this year. And it's just like you have the great world building and the great scenery there, like the fantasy Venice. You have an amazing cast of characters. You have like 2 really good flashbacks. You have some of the best fights. To me, some of the Ennius Lobby fights and the Sea Train fights are some of the best in the series. And then it's like the only arc in One Piece that has like 5 plot twists back to back to back to back, and there's a lot more political intrigue, and it's a little bit darker without losing sight of it. It's just like it's so unique, and it has so much going on, and it's so dense on every conceivable level. It's just like firing on all cylinders, and then you get these cool shonen fights that are funny and exciting, and most of it was very well animated too, especially if you compare it to like Alabasta, like how the anime carried it over, or like other arcs that I really like. It's just a big winner. It's just so good, and I could watch it. And every time I watch the "I Want to Live" speech, I get really emotional, like every single time. So I love it.
I think of any island in One Piece, I would want to visit Water 7 the most as like a tourist.
I went to
fabulous.
Venice. I went to Venice when I was in my early 20s, and I remember being there thinking, "Oh, this is just like the anime I like." I literally, it was awesome. Yeah.
That's amazing.
I said the same
wish-
thing.
Yeah,
about
they
World
built the real world Water 7.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You go up the
basically,
camera, how
like-
good this arc was.
You go up, you're
It's
like, wow,
just
this
as
is just like
touristy.
the anime.
You know, I say the same thing when I ride any log flume ride at a park.
I really,
I don't
really
believe
hope
it. They've rebuilt Water 7.
I really hope someone went to to Venice. Really hope someone goes to Venice and say, "Wow, this Water 7 recreation is amazing," and they're like, "No capisce."
I could be that guy. I could be that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The live action Netflix series looks great.
Any other
Wow, physical
thoughts?
sets.
Water 7 is like the perfect is just like a perfect arc, and it's the kind of arc that I don't think One Piece ever like could do again. You know, like it does.
Everything they do is world news now, so you can't really go under the radar anymore.
Yeah, like the Straw Hats are still like they're still the underdog, so it's fun in that way when they're like doing crazy shit. It has the kind of the tragic elements of like Marineford, right? But it has the victorious and the tragic in equal volume, and they complement each other, and they don't get in each other's way. Like you can have Luffy versus Usopp, and that's like the most like gut wrenching like Straw Hat tries to leave the crew storyline that we have. And you have the Mary dying at the end. And you also have like just classic as hell shonen fights. And they win in the end and they're victorious, but then now the Mary's gotta die. And it's like whenever they try to do that again, like when Sanji leaves, like as much as I love Whole Cake Island, like when Sanji's trying to leave the crew, it doesn't feel as true as when like it was happening in Water 7. Like Water 7, I was like, I had literally no idea that like it could go in this direction. That it could get this dark, or it could get this like real in terms of tension between the crew members.
Agreed.
Yeah.
So I want to know what Brodsky thinks. They've been up there in the right-hand corner this entire time.
Oh, actually, you know what? That's a great time let's go through some Brodsky stats here. If you don't have it, it's fine. I could just read them off. So what we did with Brodsky is we wanted to see like, what did you like depending on when you joined, when you caught up to the series. So we put them in like generations of 5 years. So we'll start with people who joined in 99 and 2003. What were their top 5 arcs? Now I'll say again, Water 7 expected to be at the top of most people's list because it really did, and deservedly so, did very well. Donnie gets to be at the top now. It's just, thank you, I guess. Thank you, Dan. Top 5 for those 99 through 2003 going up. Number 5, Arlong Park. Number 4, Wano, still beating Arlong Park amongst the oldest of fans. Number 3, Marineford. Number 2, Alabasta. Number 1, Water 7, Enies Lobby. I think Alabasta is the biggest standout of those 5. The bottom 5 for those same people, the old folks, in their nursing home, their One Piece themed nursing homes.
Voted nursing home right now.
It's actually, that's what this is. This is an assisted One Piece facility.
Thousand Sunny Pines nursing home.
The bottom 5 were number 20 was Logtown, then Twin Capes Whiskey Peak, Orangetown, Syrup Village. How the hell did Long Ring Longland get number 24, rock bottom for that
rough.
group?
This is rough.
That's really nuts.
Let's stop talking about them then.
That next generation would be those who started in 04, 08, if you're one of them. Number 5 was Arlong Park, then Me Too. Then Shabadi Archipelago, Alabasta, then Marineford was number 2, and Water 7 was number 1. So that's pretty similar. Again, Alabasta a little bit higher, and Shabadi was a little bit higher. So I think that fits into what we were saying as well. Bottom 5. Bottom 5 for the coolest of the generations, right, Ed and Donnie?
Exactly.
And not maybe Steve. Steve, when did you start? 03?
Like late 02, 03.
Oh,
much.
so you were in the old folks.
Like, because like the first US Jump came out in December 2002, and it was meant for January 2003. So I don't know. It's like I was born in '89, but I don't call myself an '80s kid. So.
You're millennial. That's what counts.
I was there for Rick Astley. That's and
I mean, we all were. We all were. Number 20, Fishman Island. 21, Orangetown. 22, Syrup Village. 23, Long Ring Longland, and dead last for this group, shocking, Whiskey Peak. I don't know why that was the worst for that group, but. I'm sorry, I can't take responsibility. Ed already took the helm.
I don't like seeing Davey backfighting there.
Well, I did have Whiskey Peak as my last one, which I do kind of regret. It should be second last.
For what about the 09 to 2013 generation? This is the first generation of One Piece podcast fans, as far as I'm concerned. Number 5, Arlong Park. Number 4, Alabasta. Number 3, Shabadi. Number 2, Marineford. Number 1, Water 7. Do you notice what's missing here? No Wano in the top 5 of this group here. Bottom 5, Little Garden, then Whiskey Peak, then Orangetown, then Syrup Village, then again, Long Ring Longland. I don't know what's happening. It keeps happening though.
Is it anime filler? I mean, I was not
I-
on when y'all.
I
Sounds
think
like
that's
it.
what it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, we broke it down. We broke it down by those who are caught up with the anime, so anime watchers, we would assume, and it had like double or triple the people who really who put it as their lowest. So
That's fair.
that would do it. The filler is not great. Chicky Cheetah, right, Ned?
Chicky Cheetah's hands
Josh's
are clean.
face speaks volumes.
No.
He likes Kiwis.
All right. Let's do the next
Justice
generation.
for Chicky Cheetah.
Thank
For
you.
those-
Thank you.
Those who started right before the pandemic, right before Wano, 2014 to 2018, their top 5: Arlong Park, then Alabasta, then Wano, then Marineford, then Water 7 Ennius Lobby. So that's pretty close. Bottom 5, no one, we're going to be just as unhappy about this one, I'll say that. Orangetown, Little Garden, Syrup Village, Twin Capes, Long Green Longland.
The kids aren't all right.
The kids are not right. This is the most recent generation. It's the
But
kids.
sure-
It's the young kids. They know what they're talking about. The kids know what's going on.
Syrup Village is
2019
the overall last place, right?
Yeah, that's what's really shocking about this breakdown. I don't get it. Because Syrup Village is not at the bottom of any of these, so it makes no sense to me. I blame Brodsky. I don't know what happened. Top 5: Whole Cake Island, number 5 for this new group. Alabasta, number 4. Wano, Marineford, Water 7 Ennius Lobby. Bottom 5: Orangetown, Little Garden, Twin Capes Whiskey Peak, Syrup Village, Long Ring Longland. I don't know how it could have gotten the worst for every single one of them and not
It's the
lost.
children
That
who
makes
are
no
wrong.
sense.
But it wasn't last. That's the thing.
That's the thing that makes no sense.
Weird.
Yeah.
There were 3 other little questions I asked Brodsky to look up. Did anime fans like Wano more? Amongst those who were caught up in the anime, Wano was ranked number 2. So yes, the answer is yes. Anime fans did like Wano more.
Makes a lot.
Interesting.
It makes sense. It is beautiful in the anime. No one would ever argue with that. For those caught up on the anime, what is their number 1 arc? Water 7. For those caught up, what's their bottom arc? Syrup Village. So all the same there. And that's all the tidbits I have now. We'll be posting more tidbits on Twitter. With story tidbits. There's probably a pun I could make.
Will we
there.
have pie charts and other fun imagery?
Oh,
Ooh, we need graphs.
yeah, there'll be graphs up the
Brodsky said that
wazoo.
they could put together some graphs for us.
Yeah,
Love a
Brodsky's
good
gonna
graph.
put some-
Love a good graph.
We have some graphs. We do have graphs. Yes.
I shouldn't be surprised, but I do find it interesting that just across the board, Water 7 Ennies Lobby is the number 1. I don't think it necessarily falls victim to the where you got caught up on One Piece. That was just
I think among people who listen to the show, if you listen to the show for long enough, I mean, we've been saying that for a long time. So I think we're pretty convincing.
yeah, but we've also been saying Davy Back Fight is fantastic. So
We have been
Well,
saying that for a while,
can't
and people don't
win 'em
seem to
all.
agree.
The
by
brainwashing
we,
isn't
I
working.
mean by we, I mean me.
I think
me
where
are is
we-
going to be the new.
I said this several times at this point, but when it comes to Davy back fights, I think where we are at the end of Wano is making me really nostalgic for the Halcyon days of the Davy back fights. Like, because it was calm and quiet and just involved Sanji and Zoro kicking each other. It was just
I like
nice.
the arc that was about potentially losing crew members was calm.
I mean, it
They had
was silly.
Yeah, they had food stands.
Stakes weren't that high yet, and you kind of knew that no one was going to leave the crew. That's why it's funny. It's like, that was fun, but nothing of value was lost. And then Aokiji shows up and turns Robin into a popsicle.
So
That's like,
Under
oh
the
shit,
shower.
stakes.
we do only have a little time left, so I want to at least talk about one of the things we came on here to talk about, and it's the 25th anniversary of One Piece. It is a big occasion. I think it's a good time to get nostalgic and sappy and corny, and say how much we love this series, what it's meant to us over the last quarter century. It is, I mean, I could talk about it forever, so I'm going to let everyone else talk about it. Jill, do you want to go first? I want to do it in the reverse order of when people join, so we get. Jill, what has One Piece meant to you? I sound like a therapist.
I mean, how do you sum that up, man? I've been reading One Piece since 2004, 2005. I think I still have the very first Shonen Jump volume that I bought at Blockbuster with it. One Piece is, it's adventure, it's friendship, it's learning to live your life, follow your dreams. It's so important, and I've made so many fantastic friends and connections. And, the podcast team members that I've grown with here. It's been such a huge part of my life, and such a fantastic part of it. So, I don't really know what more to say other than, it's everything.
Josh?
Yeah, in no uncertain terms, I think it's the finest adventure story ever told in terms of scale. I love hyperbole, but I truly mean that. It's what inspired me to become an artist, so I have it to thank for that. And truly, I've met so many awesome people from being a fan of the series. I don't know. It's really special to me. It's why it's tattooed all over my body. So
let's see. Oh yeah, there's a lot of good One Piece tattoos in this room. Vera left has a few of them as well, I think. Mike Patton just joined us. Sorry to cut. Shannon was next on deck, but Mike Patton just comes here, steals the slot. The question we have for you, it's a different question.
I'm sorry, and Mike Patton's not here alone. On closer.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm ignoring that. I am ignoring that.
What?
No, Mike Patton.
Is that?
I think we have a celebrity guest.
Yeah. Wait, let's make him pick.
Yeah, let's not be rude, Zach.
Yeah, you're right. Mike, who's our celebrity guest this evening?
Why, it's
me,
my God,
the crime dog. I didn't know it was a puppet.
I had no idea it was a puppet. That's incredible.
Hi, everybody.
Hey,
I got a
McGruff.
copy of my cassette. McGruff Cares for You.
Do you?
Wow, he has the cassette. He has the
Of
cassette.
course, Mike has the cassette.
Oh no, I was gonna ask McGruff what One Piece meant to them.
That's what I thought Zach was gonna do.
No, I was gonna ask.
I don't want his opinions because he's on the wrong side. He thinks that they cause too much trouble. I don't.
Man, McGruff's got more drip than I do. Like, look at those pants. Like that's
Same.
To take more time away, but his shirt does come off.
Oh, don't! Whoa,
Whoa,
hey,
you can't
whoa,
outscreen
Oh,
me.
we already had enough bots this evening. We've had enough
It's like
bots.
he's wearing a little brown wife beater
Why does
underneath.
he have a
turkey
Mitch
neck that I like.
McConnell's turkey neck? Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it's best not to get McGruff's opinion. It's like, I don't think they should have shot down the flag. I think they should have respected
Akainu was right.
It caused too much ruckus.
Are there One Piece fans who
McGruff
think
should be an
that somewhere?
admiral.
Or like,
There's
the-
gotta
that
be.
Shannon?
There have to
Shannon,
be.
based on a lot of the replies I get, yeah.
Oh God.
Mike, the question I actually had is
it's the new Navy Admiral Brown Dog. I don't know what that would be in Japanese.
I don't either. Mike,
I
the
don't
actual
know
question
that.
I had is, can you consider Amazon Lily a lazy river arc?
Well, I mean, it's like you guys were saying. The Calm Belt is not a river that you want to be tubing down because there's just so much trouble in there. So I don't necessarily consider it a lazy river by technical stances, but I do think that it has some of the vibes of a lazy river, and that I can get behind. So,
By the way, Brown Dog is Cha-Inu. Cha-Inu. I'll say Cha-Inu.
Oh yeah,
Mike,
Chaton is brown pig.
No, because it's just
That's
something saying
true.
China. It should be Cha-Inu, right?
Cha-Inu, the Chinese chicken.
Cha-Inu.
I think that's the lyric. Mike, what is One Piece meant for you? Thank you, Dan.
Well, I'm one of the people that read it during the pandemic. So I started in 2020 in like December. No, I started before the pandemic, and then I got to Syrup Village and didn't like it and put it away for a couple months, and then got back to it and was like, okay, this is one of the best things that I've ever read. and it is like during such a pivotal time where there's so much uncertainty. You're not able to go do anything. You couldn't see anybody, and so having this series that was just about like adventure and friendship and taking down like the worst people during a time when so much of that was hard to find it just latched on. So that's what it means to me, pretty much.
Hi, Alex. Everyone's just popping in at the end.
Oh,
Alex,
this isn't gonna work.
Been kidnapped.
Okay, goodbye, Alex.
Yeah, I said the same thing about Quitty, and it looked exactly the same.
Shannon, what about you? What are your thoughts now that we're 25 years on? I see your color walk in the background, I think.
Oh, yeah, my cousin had a color walk. She's a few years younger than me. We're really close. We would watch it as teenagers, and her color walk got severely like water damaged. So I kept the map from it and the cover, and I need to frame it.
That's really cool.
It was like gross.
Yeah.
She gave me her like messed up. Well, she probably like right when it came out in the U.S. like a long time ago. But yeah, I started reading One Piece when I was 12. I'm in my 30s now, and it has had such a huge impact on me, just like ideologically, like being 14 and reading Water 7 and the Sea Train arc and stuff, and understanding the concept of justice as just like something kind of terrible, something like repugnant or just like oppressive. I was never exposed to that ideologically. There's a lot of stuff in it that I think kids would not be exposed to, especially like American kids would not be exposed to ideologically. And I'm an artist and I make stuff, and it influenced how I draw and how I think about storytelling and how to write characters. And I've, like a lot of other people, I've made so many wonderful friends through it and continue to make friends through it, which is crazy. Like I've known Alex since probably like 2005-ish. 2005 to 2008. And I remember when we first hung out in like 2016, it was like, damn, we've known each other for so long. Thanks to this. It was like really cool. So, and there's nothing else that I watched as a child that I'm going to be as into for the rest of my life. Like this is the one thing for me. Like there's a lot of stuff that I liked as a kid that was cool, that was good, like movies and comics and anime, but there's nothing that ever hit me this hard. That in my 30s, I have adult friends who are like also watching it, and then they're like, oh man, and when my kids are old enough, I'm going to get them to watch it too, because it's so good. And it's so cool to like have something like that is not, it's not like it's perfect, but that is not disappointing, or that I don't think I'll ever get tired of it, especially if it's sort of reaching, the end of it. So, and I'm really happy I get to do this show too and talk to y'all.
Yay. And fight together, which everyone should listen
Fight together, yeah. Very proud to be a part of that too.
Yeah. Donnie, what about you?
Oh, great. I go on and the porn bots come back at the exact same time.
Well,
Cool.
it's coincidence?
They came for you. Okay.
Yeah, it happens every time. So like One Piece, what it means to me, like this is hard. This almost feels like we're writing like a summer essay or something. Like what One Piece means to me. I'm sorry. It's like
use good SAT words. Just remember.
So I won't go too much into 4Kids, even though, again, like when I started, and I think it speaks to the power of the story in Oda's world and character designs that, like, I know a lot of people, including myself, who, like, 4Kids was how we were first introduced to it, and we are still invested and still in it. That did not kill it enough. And it did for a while, like, in the US, the interest in One Piece was so low, like, every con you go to, you see 2 Luffys and like 1,000 Narutos running all over the place. But like, you look at it now, One Piece, it's been 25 years and One Piece is still dominating. And I think it speaks to a lot what everyone said, what Shannon said about like the content that it speaks about, a lot about government corruption, arcs about racism that don't try to hide it. And like, yeah, they use an analogy with like Fishman, but it's not sugar coated. It's straight there. Like the characters straight up say racism. Like they say the word. They don't try to hide it. And as a queer person myself, having a series and a shonen series that has so many queer characters, not all of them great or written well, but a lot of them, like we were talking about, Bomb Clay, fan favorite, amazing, even Cobb, fantastic. Go to Wano, and we have two in Wano, Yamato, who's a huge fan favorite, and I will fight anyone who disagrees about their queer status, and Kiku, like, is incredible that have that representation, and to have had it since the early 2000s with Bon Clay, and Bon Clay being a fantastic character. And like most shonen series, they even have one, it's one who's not great most of the time, like if you can even think, or it's a character that people have to be like, well, they were intended to be written queer, but it's really not clear. Bon Clay just comes out and straight up says it, like, and unabashed, and the rest of the crew, he's an antagonist, but that has nothing to do with his queerness. That just has to do with the fact that he's an assassin working for an evil organization, as you do. And so just have that, and to have it be 25 years and have it be that it's a series that it's still hooking people. During the pandemic, so many people would message me and be like, okay, Donnie, I'm doing it. How do I read it? Like, how do I read One Piece? I want to read it. And they would read it all, and now are week to week and message me when new chapters come out and be like, oh, this is incredible. Like, it's the fact that it has that staying power. There's not another series I can think like it that I think will last long after it's over.
Dan, what about you?
Oh, geez. I know, like, whenever we do like these big roundtable discussions, I'm always talking about how I wish I had the wealth of intellect to be able to properly put things into words and like really give proper adoration to this thing that is done more for me than I've done for it. But I guess that's what makes One Piece so great, is that it leaves me dumbfounded. Like, I am just a complete idiot and fool for it, and I can't adequately describe like why that is. But I mean, everyone has said it better than I ever could. Like, it is just, it's so weird that a piece of media that years ago I would have felt like a complete loser for saying, like, wow, this thing about a stretchy dude that goes on adventures is like given so much to my life and is the one consistent thing that has been like my rock since I was a wee lad of 18 years old. Like, that I can now confidently and proudly say, like, yeah, like that's what I got going for me. Like, that's the thing that has continuously given to me as far as friendships, inspiration, ideas, whether it be creatively or even like doing side gigs. Like, I wouldn't be doing audio editing with you all and being able to connect with all of you if not for One Piece. And that's crazy. That this gag comic, this shonen story that you would think would, like, okay, we throw it out a lot, but like the big punchies, like, oh man, like who's going to get decked this week?
Dan,
has
bigpunchies.com. Very important.
Yes, very bigpunchies.com.
Yeah, please visit.
But yeah, like it's so astounding to me that something of this depth and magnitude can do so much more than just throw out a really well-timed joke. Like, yes, Luffy can push the zombie into the dirt and we will all die of laughter. But the fact that it is caused a lot of us to share tears with one another and to take a real look at life and how injustices are just like rampant across the board, across the globe, and starting up that conversation. Just a testament to how fantastic that series is. And yeah, to me, One Piece is that friendship. Like, it's that friend that you have that comes back home every summer, that catches up with you and it's like, hey man, like, how things been going? Or that person that you talk to every once in a while over social media that just be like, hey, like, let's catch up. What's going on in your world? Like, what are you dealing with right now? Yeah, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, we're personifying it as a it works. Steve, you're muted, so that fucked it.
It's okay. I didn't say it out loud anyway, just in case I was unmuted.
Oh, right.
What was the question?
Breaking attention.
Man, how can I sum this up?
It's really difficult.
Yeah, and we already know I have a terrible time with my words, but I I don't think I've ever. I don't think I ever liked something that's had this much effect, not only on my tastes in terms of like entertainment, but just like effect on just like how to go about life. Like those tacky "What would Jesus do" like stickers, but like I'd be lying if I haven't like thought like how would Luffy go about this. And you can't always do Luffy things. You can't always just shoot down government flags and punch people in authority in the face. What makes the series so special is that you have such a vast, like, you know, just like a great diverse cast of main characters, all with their own like past traumas and ambitions, and just how that like kind of helps you grow into like a person, and how it leads you to some other people that you'll eventually call your friends or your compatriots, family, and so forth. You know, it's about kind of it's kind of just following through with like, you know, your aspirations and your dreams, and building each other up, and really experiencing the worlds, and you know, and living like an actual, like living a life. I don't know, just not, instead of just, you know, and instead of just dealing with like the hand that you're dealt with sometimes, or never put, you know, just never taking a chance on yourself. It's all about that. And you know, and when you do that, and when you do what you love, and you're doing alongside the people you love, that's, you know, that's freedom. That's when you're the most free. And consuming that in a comic book is pretty freaking cool, I gotta say. I mean, and it's, you know, it's definitely changed my life. I don't think I've liked anything as much as I've liked One Piece, nor will I ever like anything in this capacity again. I just can't do it. It's too much. But, you know, for this just being like a series that I think I kind of just watched and read by myself for a while, and maybe talked to a few people about it, and it led to me kind of basically finding my own crew. And like the podcast itself has kind of been like an adventure. The parallels between from doing this, meeting a bunch of guys from DC that I never met in person before, and having plenty of life experiences with them is the most One Piece ass thing I could ever do with my life. And I'm thankful for the series for giving me that opportunity. It's cathartic, and I'm looking forward to seeing this series all the way through. I'm a lifer.
I guess I'll wrap it up. One Piece, I cannot understate how important One Piece has been to my life. It's all back here behind me. But I mean, it's been 13 years of talking about it every single week with my best friends, and with people I barely knew before I did this show, with Ed as an exception. My groomsmen were mostly all podcasters. We went on a trip together. We went on like 10,000 cons between the years 2010 and 2011, and the rest of them. Like, it is incredible how much of an impact this series has made on my life. Like, I can't understate it. I agree with Steve. I will never love something to this extent again. It has impacted my life in ways I would have never expected. It has also, like, narratively, Shannon put it really well. I think just changed my opinions on a lot. Not just because of even the story, but the community that it has, the communities it has introduced me to. And, you know, I think we talked a lot, Shannon, I forget the term, about like popular media introducing you to concepts. you could probably say
Like
the word
contact
better than-
hypothesis. Like if you see
Contact
marginalized group, you're less likely to. They've done studies. You're less likely to be bigoted towards certain groups if you see positive media representations.
Yeah, and One Piece totally does not do that perfectly. We've talked a lot about Sanji, but I think it has been. I don't even know where I'm going with that specific point, but it's just been unbelievable experiencing it with such a diverse, fantastic, intelligent, funny group of people week to week for 13 years on the podcast and several years before that. And for people who are waiting to the end to catch up, you're going to miss out on that week to week experience. There are certainly parts of the week to week experience that are excruciating. I think that's why people rank Long Ring Longland so low, even if they are wrong. There are parts that are difficult, but the ability to like connect to people on this level, like, what do you think's going to happen next? What did you see that thing in the chapter? I was looking through old photos and I have like old screen caps of One Piece panels for the thing that happened that week. And I'm like, oh, when I was on my honeymoon, this was the chapter that came out. And when I was doing this, it's like crazy to have all these points in my life have such a consistent, as Dan put it, like such a consistent foundation that runs through the whole thing. And I don't think One Piece is going to end in 3 years, but it might end in 4 or 5 years or 6 years. And it's going to be so weird not having that consistent thing, because the one thing you could say is I think Oda has had an end game in mind, that it's going to have some sort of definitive conclusion. And when that happens, One Piece is still going to very much be there. I think it is going to be a media juggernaut. Nothing really dies. I think we talked about many times in media, as much as you may want it to sometimes.
Not these days. Nostalgia's weaponized at this point.
Yeah, One Piece will always be there. It'll be a Boruto One Piece and whatever, 2-piece, 3-piece, 4-piece, and so on. But that being said,
Coral of One Piece. We'll get our Patrick
Two
Star
One
show
Piece.
equivalent of One Piece.
You've got the live action.
that exactly, which I'm sure will run more than 2 seasons. That being said, it is. I like this is it's such a good lesson for like being present minded for me, because it makes me appreciate these moments, because they will, these moments are gonna end. So it makes me enjoy them as they last. And I'll have the friends that I made along the way I think going forward into the future. But the One Piece podcast, episode 727, where we are, this is only happening now. And I do look forward to see how it concludes. And for the journey, more importantly than the ending. Unless it's a really bad ending. Then maybe I'll have to rethink.
25 years of filler up to this point, Zach.
It's just all been filler. It's like, it's been a dream.
Yeah, I was about to say, we've been in a snow globe the whole time.
What a snow globe it was.
Yeah,
$29.99 at the Mugiwara store. He was at the Mugiwara store the whole time? That doesn't make sense. They have good stuff. Anyway, let's just go around and see where people could find all you. Donnie, where could people find you?
Oh, I wasn't ready to go first. 1 second. I need to know exactly how my Twitter handle is spelled.
Donnie, where are you?
Where am who knows these days, I'll be honest.
Barbera show.
You can find me at the Dr. Monkey at twitter.com. For now, I'm probably going to do a rebrand in the next month or two, but for now, I haven't picked a name yet, so I don't have one. But
will you still be a non-binary?
Oh, that's staying. I just
game developer.
I came up with the name Dr. Monkey when I was 11. I think 20 years later, it's about time for a change. But for now, you can find me on Twitter, the Dr. Monkey, and in the next few months, I will be starting streaming again on Twitch soon, and so follow along on Twitter, and I'll put out what my channel will be at that time. But
hopefully we'll have more. Yeah, we'll have more stream stuff. Hopefully.
Yes, that too.
Yeah. Shannon, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Plenty of Alcoves, Shannon Strucci. I had a very nice one, very sentimental, in-depth One Piece video that for the second time Toei just copyright striked, and I contested it. So we'll see what happens. And if I get in trouble, because I was like, it's fair use, I'm gonna risk it because I really like that video. And if you go look at my Twitter bio, all the other like podcasts stuff I do is in there. I don't need to list it all out. You can click it.
Shannon does amazing work. Fight Together too. I think we have one more episode that we have in the tank that we need to release about disability. Mike, where can people find you?
I was muted, but now I'm not. Hey, you can find me on Twitter at Patent Pending. That's EN, not ON. From there, I don't know. I make cartoons. You could check them out. I made a game in Google Slides called Teen Quest. Do you have what it takes to see a rated R movie? So go do a choose your own adventure game for teenagers. And more importantly, go to youtube.com and type in McGruff Smart Kids and listen to McGruff's 1986 album with such songs as Alcohol, Inhalants, and Cocaine and Crack. So,
not very inventive.
I'm sorry, what was that last one? Could you just repeat it?
Cocaine and Crack. And why you should not do it.
Did McGruff take the cocaine fruit we mentioned at the very beginning of this podcast?
Yes, he took the cocaine logia. That's why he's always sniffing around.
Snort fruit.
Yeah.
Josh, where can people find you?
You can find me at Amons, AMONNS. I also pod from time to time, which you can also find in my Twitter bio. So,
Swim fans.
No good at self promo.
No, I get it. I'm not either. Dan.
I feel you.
You can find me at HowDan923 on Twitter, as well as OP Podcast TTRPG for the tabletop game that Josh, Sam, and a few other folks are involved in. Zach is also in there as well. And you can also find me on Twitch at GA1C, which also hoping to get back into the swing of things with some things planned in the pipeline.
This is where there's one comment here from dude over there that the cocaine logia should be in the tabletop RPG. So can you?
No, don't say that. He'll do it.
Yeah,
he will 100% do it.
Oh.
Yep.
Oh no, it's happening right now. I see it. I see the gears in his head moving.
Make sure it's McGruff that has it.
Move over to fruit.
When Mike comes in, he'll just be McGruff.
I was gonna say
the dog with the cocaine logia. I wonder how would cocaine be a logia? Anyway, Jill, where could people find you?
You can find me at Am I muted?
No, you're good. It doesn't make sense.
Well, I was supposed to be muted then, so I don't know what is happening. I apologize for the coughing, everyone. No idea what's going on.
We did ask Jill to cough as much as possible, to be fair, so that really is on me.
Last week, so you can find me on Twitter at PirateessUnluck. You can find me and Sam in our live action. It's basically our podcast, Reel It In. You can find it at Reel It In on Twitter. We go over One Piece live action news, and we'll be going over it once it's out. And we, in the meantime, are going over different live action adaptations of anime and anime adjacent properties. Like coming up, we're going to be recording one based on Scott Pilgrim and Pacific Rim. So that should be pretty fun. But we have, gone over Dragon Ball. So fun with those episodes. We watch them, so you don't have to. And I'm sorry, Zach, but I do have to say it. You can find me as Pure Unlock on Final Fantasy 14 World Ultros. So.
I don't really care. Good for you, Jill. Good for you, Jill. I don't know what any of those words mean. Steve, where could people find us or you?
I was going to say SteveYurko.com, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram at Steve Yurko.
And Forced to Watch 4Kids new episode is out right now. You could see the One Piece bathing suits that Vivian and Nami wear in the 4Kids dub at the end of Alabasta. Maybe it was a pun. Maybe that's the One Piece that we had been searching for. More 4Kids slander to come on future episodes of the One Piece podcast. We have a really crazy good lineup. By the way, you can follow me at Zach_Logan. Also bad at self promo. There's a lot of really cool stuff, cool guests coming up on the podcast. Let's see if I can find the list of them. well, I know. Oh, so next week. I'm sorry, next week. We're recording this Sunday a new episode with Murphy Napier. That'll be out on Monday. The following week, Ian Jones-Cordy of OKKO, a series I've been watching and really loving. That's on HBO Max if you have not checked that out. We have Abby Denton, the most talented comedian of all time, will be on August 1st. Do I mean it? Yes. God's Will be on the following week. Then Totally Not Mark and Jusil will be on to round off our August lineup. So we'll be back on Monday because we have not got enough podcasting here, and my voice is not completely shot. But thank you all for coming to our live episode of the One Piece podcast. My name is Zach.
And my name is Steve.
Yes, it is. Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Dan, end the stream.
Wait, it's up to me. You're also in control.
Dan.